Happy Wednesday. I'm Simone, and these are your Sactown sports headlines. Last night, the Phillies sliced up the Diamondbacks in shutout fashion.
13th strikeout of the night for Phil's pitching as they shut out the Diamondbacks. A 10-0 rout. The Phillies will head west with a 2-0 lead in the National League Championship Series.
Conversely, Game 3 of the ALCS continues tonight from Arlington as the Rangers host the Astros. That Texas standoff draws at 5:03. Sacramento Kings face off with the Golden State Warriors tonight for a second straight preseason game. Of course, we here at Sactown Sports will have your complete comprehensive game night coverage jumping off right after the Drive Guys beginning at 5:30 with tip-off from Chase Center at 7.
Cool.
I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. Welcome in to the Drive Guys.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
Game night here on Sactown Sports. Drive Guys taking you up to our Kings coverage. And I think, Kyle Draper, the best thing to me about this game is that we're almost done with the preseason. We're getting there.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Because if I'm a Kings fan, we're all going to be watching tonight. I get that. It's the Warriors. We're looking for certain things. But the results really don't matter, Whitey. And so, here we are 0-3, and people are all nervous and upset and everything like that. Not me. I want to see the regular season games. That's when they mean something. I want to see how this team looks when De'Aaron Fox is playing 37 minutes a night. Domas is playing 33 minutes a night. And so all this panic that I'm hearing around Sacramento about the club right now, calm down. Our guys aren't even playing really.
Right. But it's not panic. I'll speak for myself. It's not panic. And yeah, it doesn't matter win or lose. I would like to see them more competitive defensively for longer stretches. So I can speak only for myself, as I say. I'm not panicking, little uncomfortable with some of the things we're seeing. And I'll say this, my read on this situation with Kevin Huerter, I know a lot of us have thought that maybe this is Mike Brown sending a message. I don't know if it's so much sending a message as Mike Brown saying, you're not starting. It's not a message. It's like you can't start if you play like that. He's been replaced in the starting lineup, and I think he has to earn his job back unless, Duarte's hurt now, so maybe that opens the door again.
I was going to say, are we overblowing this Kevin Huerter situation?
I don't think so.
Mike Brown turned to Duarte in practice, started him last game, but maybe he just wanted to see how Chris Duarte played with the starting unit. Maybe it wasn't a signal to Kevin Huerter, you know what? If you don't shape up and get better defensively, this dude's taking your spot.
Wouldn't he have told him that? If that were the case, wouldn't Mike Brown have said, look, Kev, we're just doing this for this one game? Because Kevin Huerter said, as you know better than I, he said, I don't know what's going on. And that's fine. But I just think it's more, we'll see. I think it's significant. I think it's totally fair. That's pro basketball. But I do think it's really interesting to see that happen so early in the postseason.
Yeah, Mike Brown did say he spoke to Kevin Huerter, might have even been the night before he made the decision, going into practice. Hey, we're going to have Duarte start with the first unit. I don't know what's happening. Now this Chris Duarte injury makes it kind of a moot point, right? And so if I'm Kevin Huerter, we just talked on the crossover with the other guys. I was saying I was looking at Sasha. I'm always looking at Kevin Huerter, though. Now is his time. Chris Duarte not practicing, dealing with the bone bruise. He's out. He's injured. Won't play tonight or tomorrow night. So this is Kevin Huerter's time to say, you know what, this is my starting spot. And so I'm looking at him tonight as well. I'm not sure what's going on, to be honest. And I'm going to ask Matt Barnes about this coming up next segment.
We got Matt.
Yeah, in about 10 minutes, we got the great Matt Barnes. I want to hear his thoughts on it. Is it just Kevin Huerter, you need to play more, better defense to get out there? Or is it Mike Brown, he just wanted to see Chris Duarte with the starting unit?
Yeah, I don't pretend to know, but I know Kevin Huerter said when he was asked about that, he said, I'm not sure what's going on. So
right now, if Kevin Huerter don't know, like that's telling right there to an extent.
I'm not suggesting Mike Brown hasn't been communicating with him. I'm just saying that it sounds like he's told him, we don't know yet. We're not sure yet. We're going to let this thing play out. Good day for Kevin Huerter already in this sense. We have another one of these top 100 players in the NBA listing came out today. NBA rankings from The Ringer, and the Kings have 3 players in the top 100, including number 91, Kevin Huerter.
How about
so we know
that?
that Mike Brown is not part of the panel that voted on that.
Exactly. You know, it's funny. I mean, if Kevin Huerter is not starting for this team, he's not even in the top 5 on his squad, you know,
I know.
but yet in the Ringer, and I'm a little shocked that we only have 3 guys and that Kevin Huerter is the third guy. What was it? ESPN or NBA had Harrison Barnes.
That was the ESPN
That was the ESPN one. Had Harrison Barnes as the third Sacramento King. What I'm seeing, though, when I look at these, and we'll deep dive into it a little bit, you got Fox 17, Domas 24, but then there's a huge gap. That's what the Ringer is saying to me. There's a huge gap between those 2 guys and the next best player on Sacramento.
Yeah, I remember last spring, right around playoff time, The Athletic had their version of this, and I think they had those 3, plus I think Monk and Keegan both made it.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty fair. And again, it doesn't matter, but it is surprising to see only 3 Kings in there if one of them's Kevin Huerter.
Right, exactly. I thought, Keegan would maybe be in there. Harrison Barnes would be in there as well. And, I did look at this Ringer thing, and honestly, Whitey, this is probably the first time that I agree with a national, I don't have many issues with this Ringer top 100 list.
All right.
I don't have many issues.
Sounds like you have maybe a few.
Yeah, I got a couple. I still got a couple. It's still a few guys that are, a little too high, and some of our guys aren't even listed. So I do take a little, but I can see what they're saying. So this isn't a John Hollinger kind of thing or a Pelton kind of thing or anything like that. You know what? They actually did pretty well, I think, in this Ringer one.
Didn't they also, and this is similar to the way ESPN ranked them, didn't they have Halliburton right before Sabonis?
Yes. They had Halliburton 23, which is okay. I'm not gonna argue that. My problem was they had Halliburton ahead of De'Aaron Fox. ESPN did. You know, in this one, De'Aaron Fox is clearly, according to these rankings, better than Tyrese Halliburton. De'Aaron Fox, number 17. They had De'Aaron Fox ahead of Bam Adebayo, which was, I thought, huge in this one. That was a statement. They had De'Aaron Fox ahead of Anthony Edwards. And Anthony Edwards seems to be like the new it guy around the NBA. And so as a Kings fan, you know what? Our guy did get some respect. De'Aaron Fox did get some respect in this ranking.
Do you agree with the summations of these players here? Number 17, De'Aaron Fox, total speed demon who lives for the game's biggest moments.
Yes.
That's pretty nice.
Yes, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, Domantas Sabonis, burly center with a back-to-the-basket skill set that's adapted to work as the fulcrum of a modern offense.
That sounds good, but when you do a deep dive, and this is one of the problems I had with the Ringer, and when they talk about Sabonis, they say the trouble is on defense, where he can get exposed inside and out against more physical matchups, even on the glass. What are they talking about? Because Looney had one good series against him. We're talking Domas getting dominated on the glass. I don't think that was an issue at all during the regular season. And so I think the Ringer is letting the playoffs really cloud their judgment when it comes to Domas.
Yes. As we said yesterday, anytime you read one of these national website prediction reports here, pieces, the main reason the Kings seem to be disrespected is because the vast majority of people writing these, they don't really have that much respect for Sabonis as a top-level NBA player.
That's the key. It's not about Fox, because everybody thinks Fox is great. You're right about that. It's about Domantas Sabonis. And Rob Mahoney of The Ringer goes on to say, and this is one thing I had trouble with this. He says, because of that, talking about the trouble on the defense and maybe getting exposed even on the glass, because of that, a Sabonis-led team tends to come with a sturdy floor and a fairly defined ceiling.
The problem with that is the Kings' ceiling last year was way higher than anyone envisioned.
Right, exactly. We don't even know what their ceiling is. Really, they blew past it last year. Yeah. And so why can't they do it again this year? We don't know.
It's not like the Warriors blew them out.
Right.
I mean, they almost beat the Warriors.
Exactly.
They came that close to beating the Warriors. Be that as it may. And then Kevin Huerter, number 91, the crucial floor spacing deep threat for an electric Kings offense.
I like that. It's 100% true.
He was great last year.
He was great last year. And the thing about it, as I read about Kevin Huerter, Chris Ryan wrote this. They don't mention his postseason struggles. Like the reason they, criticize Domas is because of his rebounding and defense, where Kevon Looney clearly out-rebounded him, did him in on the boards.
Yep.
So that was a knock on Sabonis. Kevin Huerter, as I read this, they say he isn't Klay Thompson, but he's still a pretty darn good NBA player shooting the long ball and an above-average secondary playmaker to Fox and Sabonis. And so, you know what? They gave love to our guy, Kevin Huerter, but it doesn't paint the full picture, which is okay for me. I'm not, I'm glad they didn't bring up Kevin Huerter's struggles, because I'm not going to look at a 7-game vacuum and indict a guy for that and say that's who he is. He's done. He struggled. And that's where I feel like the league is doing with Domantas Sabonis.
Yes, I can't wait for the games to start so that we will be able to have actual results and games to watch and judge rather than, all this nonsense. And I know I get caught up in it as much as everyone, especially when there's nothing else to talk about. But pretty soon we won't have to worry about any of that. Oh, yeah, there will be your power rankings. King slide in the power rankings. I'm telling you, none of it matters once the game starts. Yes.
The standings are what matters.
Yes. So looking forward to that, and looking forward to Kings and Warriors tonight. Although, Kings and Warriors now, it seems like, Kings and Warriors again.
Right.
It's like every other night.
Every other night. We're going to see them next week as well. But, one thing Mike Brown said before last game against the Warriors, he said he didn't even scout the Warriors. He didn't even look at film of them. He said, because really it's all about what we do, what the Kings are doing right now. And same thing going into tonight. He said he'll look at last game against the Warriors, obviously, but really to get a gauge on what his team needs to work on and what they. So when we see them, and that's a good question, when we see them tonight defensively, are they reacting to Golden State's plays? Like, do they have a defensive, all right, here's what they're going to. They are not treating this like a regular season game. And so I think they want to see certain things. And so the defense, maybe that's a reason, too, why it's not up to par, because they've been focusing on so much on what they do, not necessarily what the opponent does.
That makes sense. One thing that mildly concerned me about the last game against the Warriors is the way Kuminga was physically pretty dominant. He got to the line, I think, 17 times.
Yeah.
So that was that's something I'd like to see corrected tonight. Now, Kuminga played, I don't have the box score.
34 minutes. Yeah,
so he didn't just play
right
against the Kings' first unit, but still, he was physically dominant. And that guy he has a chance to be a really good player, obviously.
No, he does, and they're high on him. Obviously, there's a reason why he was drafted a lottery pick, and he might be the key to the Warriors season. But I want to go back to that game really quickly here, Whitey, because when we talk about the defense, we want to see consistent defense, obviously. We all agree on that. Golden State shot 42.5% from the field. That's pretty good. If you can hold a team to 42.5%, that is pretty good. And then you look at the second half, 27 points, 28 points. Where the Kings lost that game was the free throw line. You got to keep them off the free throw line. They shot 42 free throws to the Kings 17.
That's ridiculous.
35-12 and made free throws. And so, one thing Mike Brown talked about after the game is defending without fouling. You got to be physical, yes, but you can't foul as much as the Kings did the other night.
Right. And, the Warriors kind of, as I say, coming out physical in a way. They got to the line, and the rebounds were not close. But, again, it's hard to look at a game, the final snapshot, because really in the preseason you have to look at stretches, what these guys did together, what those guys did together. So hopefully we'll see some better and longer stretches of better defense tonight. And if we don't, that's okay.
If we don't, it's okay. It's okay. I want to see when the regular rotation is set. I don't care. Yes. No offense. I don't care about the defense for our 10th, 11th, and 12th man, because that's not going to impact what we see during the regular season.
So no Duarte tonight?
No Duarte tonight.
I'm really disappointed in that, because it's an interesting story that's developing with him, and I want to see him back in the lineup ASAP.
No, I agree. And I like, in the 12 minutes he played the other night, I like what I saw from him with that first unit.
We'll take a quick timeout, and Matt Barnes, 14 years in the NBA, he joins us when we come right back. Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
Can Mike Brown build on last season's Coach of the Year award? Can the Kings exceed 48 wins?
We will be better prepared to make the run that we expect to run come next playoff.
Tune into every Kings game this season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sactown Sports.
Kyle Draper, Whitey Gleason. Before we get to Matt Barnes, Kyle, years ago on this station, Matt, in his first go-round with the Kings, there was a guy on the station, I'm not going to say his name, but I remember hearing this. He was on the radio saying, Matt Barnes is not an NBA player.
What?
I think, yeah, that's what he said. I think Matt's dad even called in. Well, the guy was wrong by 14 years
Right.
and one championship ring. Nice enough to join us, Kings TV analyst, All the Smoke host. Yeah, 14-year NBA veteran, Matt Barnes. How are you today, Matt?
How you guys doing?
We're doing all right. How did the podcast go this weekend?
Podcast went well. We were up in Sac and we were able to sit down with Mike Brown. We sat down with JaVale McGee, Kevin Herter, and then we did a live show Saturday at Urban Roots with Mike Bibby. So great response, great show up for great turnout for the live audience, and I was glad that we were able to kind of bring something to Sac.
Yeah, All the Smoke podcast. Check them out. Matt Barnes, Steven Jackson, always good stuff, Matt. Here we are a week away from the regular season beginning for the Sacramento Kings. They have not played well so far this preseason. How much stock should we put on what we see from the Kings in the preseason?
Zero, because all the time I feel like, Kyle, there's a ton of teams that'll go 4, 5, 8-0. Back when we used to have a lot of preseason games, and they're at the bottom of each division every year. So, during the preseason, I just look at chemistry and building and guys catching a rhythm. Obviously, with training camps being shorter now and preseasons being shorter, it may take teams and individuals a little longer to get going and maybe a little slower start to the regular season. But I don't never put a lot of stock into what preseason records are. Again, there's certain things you look for as a former player or a coach or someone who's into the game. You just look to see how's that chemistry. How does this lineup look? How does this young player look? You look at certain things. I don't necessarily think you take the record into consideration at all, to be honest with you.
Matt Barnes with us. So far, Matt, how would you say that Sasha Vezenkov has been fitting in?
I think solid. I think what he's going to need to work on is the speed of the game, I think. And then on the defensive side, obviously, very gifted offensive player that could shoot the ball with the best of them. I think he'll be one of the top shooters in the NBA this year. But I think the speed of the game and then just kind of finding who he is on the defensive end. I know that's going to be a point of emphasis this year. I think the team was 23rd or 25th in defense last year, and obviously that's not good enough. I think this team needs to be a top 15, but preferably, if not top 10, 11 or 12 in the NBA, because obviously with such a high potent offense, you're giving teams a lot of possessions. And I think sometimes those numbers can be misleading because the Kings' offense is so high-powered and so fast. In the Kings game, the other team's going to get a lot more possessions than they are in other games. So I say all that to say that I just kind of think the side I'm going to watch is the defensive end, and is he someone that can guard threes? Is he someone that can guard fours? Is he someone that they're going to sod out and put in the pick and roll every time because he can't move his feet? So I think on the offensive end, I don't think it'll be tough, but I just think he's going to really need to work and buy in and kind of understand what the defensive end is about.
Let's stay talking about the defense, Matt, because one thing that's been discussed these last couple of days is Kevin Herter. His shot isn't falling right now. We've seen him out there defensively as well. Chris Duarte got the start the other night. I maintain that this is a delicate situation for Mike Brown because, in my opinion, I'm just reading the body language and what I see, you don't want to lose Kevin Huerter.
No.
And so how key is it that Kevin Huerter gets going for this team?
Kyle, I agree with you 100%. And I hopefully Mike Brown doesn't read too much into a slow start from the shooting side because obviously, with Huerter had career years in points per game and shooting percentage from the three-point line last year. That's something you don't mess with. You have to have shooting in this league. Obviously, he struggled in the playoffs, and he was someone we sat down and kind of talked to about that and what it felt like. But yeah, I don't know Kevin well enough to say like, hey, he's going to be fine from a mental standpoint. Don't worry about him. But I agree with you, Kyle. It is a delicate situation. Obviously, defense is not necessarily one of his strengths, but he is, when he's on, one of the best shooters in the game. So it'll be interesting to see moving forward how Mike kind of handles this, and I hope he handles it with care because I agree with you 100%. Not only is he a shooter, but Kyle, you and I talked about it a ton last year on the broadcast. Just on the offensive end, his arsenal is him and Keegan Murray. To me, both, they're labeled as spot-up shooters, but both these guys can make plays. I think their playmaking ability is underrated. I think their pull-up game's underrated, being able to finish at the basket. They both do all that very well, so they're not just your typical shooters. And I hope that Mike Brown kind of understands that, but I'm sure he will.
Matt, how similar is what the Kings do now to what the Warriors were trying to do, especially defensively, when you were there? What is it that fans can watch for, other than, hey, he guarded the guy and the guy scored or didn't score? What are things fans can look for that Mike Brown is looking for his players to be doing defensively, especially off the ball?
I just think, moving, talking, communicating, obviously the league has transitioned away from hard-nosed defense, and it's more about scoring and freedom of movement and all that other BS, so to speak. But on the defensive end, teams that win can play defense. So, to me, it's about communication, rotations, being on a string, trusting that if I make that second or third effort, that my guy's going to have my back. If I'm DeMontis and I know I have to step up because there's a point guard penetrating down the lane, that my weak side 3 or 2 is going to crack back and make sure he keeps the big off the glass. So trust, communication, all those things are very important on defense. Obviously, with an 0-3 record, people are kind of worried, I'm sure, because, they think that every game is, life or death. But I think there's certain things you look at and kind of understand from okay, we're good in this space. Our record doesn't reflect that, but hey, we're rotating quickly. We're communicating. We're taking charges. We're boxing out. We're limiting second shots. All those kind of things are things you kind of look at, again, kind of taking the record out of the picture, but just kind of looking at just the bigger picture on defense. And I know that's going to be a point of emphasis again. You think about it, Mike Brown came in and helped create one of the, number-wise, one of the best offenses in the history of the game, but Mike Brown is a defensive-minded coach, and I know there's going to be a lot more emphasis on defense this year, and there needs to be, and I think this team is going to commit and really lock into that.
Matt Barton's joining us here on The Drive, guys. Check him out, NBC Sports California, All the Smoke as well. Matt, yesterday, John Hollinger, I think it was yesterday, maybe 2 days ago, John Hollinger came out with his teams that, will be on the outside looking in for the playoffs. He had the Kings 11th in the Western Conference, 39. Exactly. It's a joke, right? It's a joke. Yeah. But realistically, where do you see them at?
I think what is the over-under for Vegas? I think was it 43 games?
43 and a half. Games? Yeah, I think it was, yes.
Yeah, I think I see them above it. Obviously they're not going to be able to sneak up on anybody. I wouldn't say they're the hunted now, but, they were the new kids on the block last year that kind of snuck up on teams, and they were the darling of the NBA. All that is out the window. These guys got to come to play every single night. They're not going to sneak up on anybody. There's a target on their back because people want to see how good are they really. How good is this team that was the third seed in the West last year? They took the Warriors 7 games. Are they really that good? Was it the luck? Was it this? Was it that? So there's going to be a lot of questions. But to say that they're going to be an outside looking in, one is a credit to the Western Conference because it's strong, but two, don't listen to people who haven't really played the game. When ESPN comes out with these player rankings or team rankings from guys that never can't dribble the ball and chew gum at the same time, don't put too much stock into that kind of stuff. If you're a fan, if you're a player, any of that kind of stuff. You know, the game still has to be played. You know, these are just predictions. So, you know, I wouldn't, you know, get too worked up over any of it.
Matt, you were, of course, part of the We Believe Warriors in 2007, and then the next year you guys won more games, but actually just missed the playoffs. Is there maybe a lesson in that for the Kings this season?
You know, I hope so. I just think, you know, they come out and they're hungry and understand, again, similar to that We Believe team, you know, we caught fire at the end of the season and kind of surprised a lot of people. But the Kings aren't going to be able to surprise anyone. You know, their national TV games are up. The recognition is up. You have 2 All-Stars. You have 2 All-NBA players. You have a EuroLeague MVP. You have a rising rookie coming into his second year. So, you know, they're going to get all the bells and whistles and all the attention that they deserve, which I think is great because they've earned it. But again, you're going to have to stand on that. You're going to have to defend that. You're going to have to understand that, hey, every single night, people are coming in to kick your butt, and you got to be prepared and ready.
Our guy, Matt Barnes, joining us. Matt, you know, I'm going to switch gears just a little bit and go to the Eastern Conference. Obviously, Boston, you know, retooled with Porzingis and Drew Holiday. Milwaukee obviously got Dame. And then you got Philly, who's dealing with this James Harden situation. He hasn't been practicing with the team this week. What do you make of this? And, you know, if I'm Joel Embiid, this is my prime right now. Like, when does Embiid become upset? If I'm Philly, I got to worry about that too.
I think Embiid is already upset, but I think he's doing a good job understanding that, you know, a lot can be put in if he came out and cussed James out or, you know, called James out on this stuff. I think they have to focus with who they have. You know, the NBA is always the next man up mentality. They got some young talent around them, but, you know, we talked about this on the Certified Smoke show I do with Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce and Steven Jackson about, you know, James has to be careful. You know, James has been a great player in this league, one of the most gifted two guards we've ever seen in this game. But you force your way out of Houston, you force your way out of Brooklyn, and then a lot of people don't blame the Brooklyn situation so much on him because it was such a debacle. But now you're in Philly, you're forcing your way out of Philly. Like, can you count on this guy to buy in? Can you count? If you're a Houston and you have a young core, do you really want to bring him in? You know, I can't speak to that because I've never played with James and I don't know what kind of teammate he is, but I'm erring on the side of caution if I'm a James Harden because the league doesn't, well, with all due respect, the league doesn't need him anymore. The league is always looking to go younger. He's obviously not the same player he was, although I still feel like he's a 2010 guy and can be a huge piece to a good team, but I think everything is between the ears with him, and you only, as Kevin Garnett said, you only get so many wiggle outs. And he's had 3 wiggle outs, two wiggle outs already in the process of his 3rd wiggle out. And, you know, this is a copycat league. You know, a couple teams are off you. The other teams start being off you too. And next thing you know, James Harden can be out of the NBA and he still has a lot to give. So I think Joel Embiid is doing the right thing, which is focusing on the guys they have in camp. I'm sure as the leader and then star and reigning MVP, he's pissed. But he's not going to let the world know that because he knows we're going to run with it and try to toss it. Not we, but some people are going to try to draw a division in this team and make it James against the 76ers. So I think he's playing his cards right, but I guarantee there's a lot of frustration from the players. I mean, I don't really get into the management side, but I know from the player standpoint, you know, there's a lot of frustration because they know that, you know, he's a big piece of that team.
Thanks very much for your time, Matt. We appreciate it. Hope to talk to you again soon.
All right, guys. Have a good show.
All right. See Matt Barnes next week. Yeah.
All right. When we come right back, what fans can expect to see from the Kings tonight, what Mike Brown expects to see from them, and, of course, hear from them here on Sactown Sports Drive. Guys, we'll be right back.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Quick Quack Car Wash.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. We're looking at plenty of sunshine for today, light northwest winds, and it's going to run warmer. Expect highs in the upper 80s to about 90 degrees in a few spots and overnight lows in the upper 50s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
There's just something about fall that makes me want to enjoy every moment. The changing leaves, the pumpkin patches, and you know what else won't last? Quick Quack's new pumpkin spice scented car wash. Text SPICE to 41284 to get 50% off any wash.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Ready for a sizzling football season? Take your game day parties to the next level with Napoleon Prestige Grills from Green Acres Nursery and Supply. Fire up the grill and score big with mouth-watering burgers, juicy steaks, and finger-licking wings. Napoleon Prestige Grills bring the heat and come complete with a lifetime warranty. Get your ultimate game day companion today. Visit your local Green Acres Nursery and Supply and elevate your tailgate experience with Napoleon Prestige Grills. Green Acres Nursery and Supply, your one-stop shop for grilling greatness this football season. Visit idategreenacres.com for the store near you. Game on!
Quick Quack Car Wash is a proud partner of the Sacramento Kings and can't wait for the upcoming season. To celebrate, Quick Quack is giving one lucky duck a pair of lower-level tickets to the Kings home opener versus Golden State on October 27th. Enter for your chance to win this epic opening night showdown by going to SactownSports.com. Be there for the Kings versus Golden State, courtesy of Quick Quack, where you can wash your car all you want with an unlimited membership.
At Ashton & Price, over the last 25 years, we've won just about every injury case you can think of. Slip and fall, falling merchandise, fell through rotted decking, we won those. Dangerous stairs, falls into holes, dog bites, won them. Injured while pedestrian or on a bicycle, auto, motorcycle, big rig, company vehicle, Uber, or Lyft accident, we've won them all. And the best news is there's no fee until you win. So no matter how you got injured,
remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for my good friends at Fire Wings with some bullet points for you to remember so you can be a professional fire wing eater. Like Wings Day Wednesday, 88-cent wings each and every Wednesday. 3 flavor lineup includes 7 classic wing flavors, 7 dry rub wing flavors, 7 fusion wing flavors. It's the perfect fast casual eating establishment for the entire family. Go to firewings.com or download the app, find a location near you, order online, earn rewards. Fire Wings, just wing it.
Sactown Sports
Headlines.
Happy Wednesday. I'm Simone, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. Last night, the Phillies sliced up the Diamondbacks in shutout fashion.
13th strikeout of the night for Phil's pitching as they shut out the Diamondbacks. A 10-0 rout. The Phillies will head west with a 2-0 lead in the National League Championship Series.
Conversely, Game 3 of the ALCS continues tonight from Arlington as the Rangers host the Astros. That Texas standoff draws at 5:03. Sacramento Kings face off with the Golden State Warriors tonight for a second straight preseason game. Of course, we here at Sactown Sports will have your complete comprehensive game night coverage dumping off right after the Drive Guys, beginning at 5:30 with tip-off from Chase Center at 7.
Oh.
I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. Welcome back in to more Drive Guys.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sactown Sports.
Thank you for being with us. Thank you, Matt Barnes, for joining us. Matt Barnes, as all guests do, came to us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. He is not amused by, what did he say, a freedom of movement and that BS.
Right. Matt Barnes was a defensive guy. He was a stopper out there. He was a hard-nosed player. That freedom of movement BS he's not for.
The debate rages on here on the YouTube chat about Kevin Huerter. Should he be starting? Why isn't he starting? And I think there's a subtle but significant difference here between the way a lot of people, I think, see it and the way I'm seeing it. There's talk here on the chat, Kyle, about how, well, Mike Brown's just sending a message. And to me, that implies that he's not really going to stick with it. He's just trying to send a message. I don't think Mike Brown's the type who would do that. To me, the message he's sending is, you're not starting if Kevin Huerter, if you don't play better defense. I don't think it's an example for the team. I think it's specifically, you have to play better or you're not starting. I think it's that simple.
Isn't that the message he's sending, though?
Well, yeah, but it's not, that's just what coaches do. That's not
right.
A message you send to the team. You know what I mean?
So you think it's not just a ploy to get him going, like he's would actually follow through with it.
Yeah.
And make that change.
That's what I'm suggesting, because otherwise, if a guy's not playing well and then someone else starts and he continues to not play well, what are you going to do? Okay, never mind, you're starting. So I think it's more than just a ploy or some sort of message he's sending to the team. I think he's serious about this. You're like, we got to get off to a good start. We got to defend better, and that's not doing it.
Let me ask you this, and I hear you, and I agree with you to an extent. But what if it doesn't happen?
It's hard for you to agree with
it. Is. It really is.
Huh?
I can agree with you on basketball. I can't agree with you on football and Niner stuff.
All right.
Basketball, I'm able to agree with you.
Okay.
But let's say, so for instance, last year, we know last year Mike Brown was preaching defense. If you don't play defense, you're not going to get on. And what wound up happening? The guys who did play defense didn't even see the floor. Kessler Edwards, Davion Mitchell in Game 7 only played 8 minutes. And so there comes a point where, let's say Mike Brown is doing all this preaching, all this talk, if you don't play D, you're not going to be in the starting lineup. What if Herter never does play defense the way that Mike Brown wants?
If he's not making shots, which he's not, then I don't know how much he can play. The plan to me clearly is, look, it'd be great if you played like you did last year, and we still think you can. If not, we've got other guys. That's why we have more wings, and that's why we brought in some of these guys, because we need more depth there. We can't afford to have no offense, no defense from any of our starting five this year, because we're trying to actually accomplish some things.
But I think, when it comes to Kevin Herter, yes, the shot has to fall. If he's not making shots and the defense is struggling, it's hard to play him.
Sure.
I get that.
Yeah, that's pretty
but
simple.
If Mike Brown is preaching defense, and Herter's shot does start falling, you may just have to accept, you know what? This is our best guy in the starting lineup. Because here's the thing. If you're preaching defense, you can't go with all your best defenders. You're going to have some liabilities at some of the positions, and maybe it's a liability at the shooting guard position. But Kevin Herter, to Matt Barnes' point, does so much more than just shoot the three. He was one of their best playmakers as well. His passing is underrated. And so right now, to me, it's a totality of Kevin Herter. And what we need to see from him tonight and tomorrow is, you know what? Okay, your shot might not be falling, but pick it up on defense. Or still be a playmaker. Go out there and get 5 or 6 assists. Don't let your shot dictate the rest of your game. And I think that's what we've been seeing from Kevin Herter since the postseason last year. And so, I don't think Mike Brown would sit Kevin Herter just solely based on defense, because he could have did that last year.
Mm-hmm.
He could have did that. I think when it comes to Kevin Herter, you have to do other things. If your defense isn't there, make shots, be a playmaker.
Talked to him last year about rebounding.
And he did that at times last year. And
so, he's 6'7", isn't he?
Yeah, he's tall. He's 6'7". And so that's what Kevin Herter, you know what? I've been too hard. I'm going to apologize to Kevin Herter.
Why?
Because, Whitey, the last couple of weeks I've been saying, you know what? I want to see Kevin Herter hit 4 or 5 threes. Not for me, but for his own psyche, his own happiness. Really, for me, what I want to see is an engaged Kevin Herter. I want to see compete defensively. I want to see active offensively. I want to see playmaking. I want to see a Kevin Herter who does not let his shot dictate his impact on the game.
Mm-hmm. I think he is going to have to win back his starting spot. I think the Kings expect that he will, and I think that they desperately hope that he does, because they need him and what he did last year if they're going to be as good as they were last year.
Let me let you in on a secret right here. Game 7 against the Warriors. Davion plays 8 minutes. Based on the numbers, the analytics, I don't know what the formula is or anything like that. It's not just in the box score. Based on the numbers, Kevin Herter did the best job on Steph Curry in that series. And that's why you didn't see Davion as much. And so, I think the coaches feel like Kevin Herter can be better defensively than what we saw these first 3 games of the preseason. And so I don't think this whole, narrative that he's a liability defensively, I don't think that's true. Based on the numbers, what they had, he's not a liability. He can be better, yes, than what we've seen these first 3 games.
Even Matt Barnes said it's not one of his strengths.
It's not one of his strengths.
I think we can.
No, how about that? It's not what he's known for. Can I at least get that? It's not. You're not going to give me that.
It's not one of his strengths. I mean, Matt Barnes said it. So,
so if Matt Barnes says it, it's gospel.
You're going to disagree with me.
I could disagree with Matt Barnes too.
Okay, but
Matt's
it's me
my
and
guy.
Mark Barnes, so it's 2-1.
It's 2 against what? I think Kevin Huerter, he's not known for his defense, yes, but at times he's shown he can play defense.
Are you suggesting perhaps that right now the coaching staff is not totally satisfied with his attention to detail on defense?
I don't know. I have no idea. I think I'm a big body language guy, and I need to see an engaged Kevin Huerter. That's what I said a few minutes ago. The results might not be there. The shot might not fall. You might not get the stop like we saw Chris Duarte the other day. Chris Duarte was in the position. He challenged shots. That's what I need to see physically, the eye test Kevin Huerter out there competing tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's why, as Matt Barnes said, the preseason doesn't matter, but there are bits and pieces of things going on the floor during the preseason that matter. And that's probably first and foremost right now is what's going on at that off-guard spot with the Kings.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, because, Mike Brown says the only 2 spots that are guaranteed are Fox and Sabonis. No offense, Mike, but we know Keegan's going to start. We know Harrison Barnes. The only issue is that 2-guard spot. And I would say this, though. Kevin Huerter has a whole entire season, a whole entire body of work. The same way we shouldn't characterize Sabonis as a bad defender who can't rebound based on what happened against Kevon Looney, we shouldn't do that to Kevin Huerter because he had an entire season where he showed he belongs in that starting 5.
And maybe I'm being redundant here, but what do you think happened then? Why did they take him out of the starting lineup?
I think what we've seen, he's struggling right now. I mean, we all see that. Mm-hmm. And what I'm worried about with Kevin Huerter is not Mike Brown or Chris Duarte. I worry about his confidence. And so that's why I wanted to see a 4 or 5 game kind of 3-point game, because for his confidence, I want to see him knock down some shots, because what I'm seeing, based on just the body language out there, he's not playing free and loose and happy and fun like we saw, throughout the regular season last year.
Oh, we're brought to you by Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411 North 16th Street, downtown Sacramento. When we come right back, take you behind the scenes a little bit inside the report on Christian McCaffrey avoiding long-term injury and what the Niners' plan may be for him over the next couple weeks. It's The Drive, guys, on Sactown Sports.
Will Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers brass go all the way this season?
Could the Niners win their first Super Bowl since 1995?
Join us throughout the season to hear all the games and all the analysis on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
I love being a bartender. I love waiting tables. But at the end of my shift, my feet were killing me. And so I had to pretend like I was having a good time. And really, I couldn't wait to sit down. But it wasn't just my feet. It was also my knees were achy. A lot of neck pain, too. I was in so much pain. I kind of lost hope, really. And then I saw the Good Feet store, and that's when everything changed.
For over 20 years, we've helped people like Kristen enjoy their work again without their feet getting in the way.
It was pretty shocking to realize that I'd been in so much pain, and suddenly I'm completely pain-free. Now that I have the Good Feet arch supports, I don't have to pretend to be happy. I'm genuinely happy. So, cheers. My name is Kristen, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
Good Feet in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville.
Igor, my faithful companion, it is time to prepare for the night. The shadows grow long, and the creatures of the night stir with excitement.
Yes, Master Dracula. What do you require of me?
I need you to fire up the hearse. Elk Grove Kia is having a Halloween sale that is to die for. We're going to upgrade you a new car worthy of the Prince of Darkness. I'm so excited. It is making my blood shiver.
But Master, with your credit history, aren't you worried you're going to get turned down?
Igor, shut up. Elk Grove Kia's finance department has over 100 years of experience. They can even get me approved, even with my troubled past. And Elk Grove Kia's exclusive 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty on all new Kias It's almost like having an immortal car.
Elk Grove Kia's Halloween sale is so good, it's scaring the competition. In fact, it's so scary, we can't even advertise the pricing. So whether you're in need of a new or used car, make your way to Elk Grove Kia in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, or visit us at elkgrovekia.com.
Jerry and Kenny here from Bell Brothers. And if you've even thought of replacing your old, outdated, inefficient windows, now is the time to take action.
Right now at Bell Brothers, when you buy one window, you'll get the second one for 30% off. That's right. Buy one, get the second one 30% off.
That's real savings, up to $6,000. You have to buy at least 4 windows to qualify, and you can't mix windows and doors. But beyond that, every second window is 30% off.
For example, when you buy 10 windows, you will get 5 windows at 30% off. We also have 0% interest financing available for qualified buyers. Call for details.
To take advantage of our buy one, get one 30% off sale, call Bell Brothers now at 916-444-1234 or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Guys, Revive Men's Health Sacramento is making you this guarantee. We will improve the medical condition of your ED or low T, or we'll give you your money back. Book your free appointment today. Call 916-277-8599 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Good Guys Heating and Cooling has a deal going on right now that you cannot miss. This summer was much shorter and cooler than normal, so that means Good Guys is overstocked and ready to clear out their warehouse. They've got inflation-busting pricing on a brand new heating and air system for just $82.99. No other company is offering a replacement system that low. Call Good Guys now at 530-GOOD-AIR to see if you qualify. That's 530-GOOD-AIR for a no-cost qualification appointment. Best service, best price, guarantee. And that's no bull. License number 1057.
Sactown Sports.
Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. What was her name? Marion Doe. Did you hear Kyle Draper? It's a Drive Guys here. About the Charger fan that was so animated during the Charger game against the Cowboys Monday night. And she was going crazy. And a lot of people said, oh, she's a plant. And she came out yesterday and said, no, I go to Charger games all the time. Did you hear what came out?
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
Pictures of her
in Vikings
for the
gear.
Vikings. Hanging out at Chris Watkins' house watching Vikings games. So, and then she says, well, I like the Vikings too. Well, then she doesn't really like the Chargers, right? If you're a fan of 2 teams, you're not really a fan of 1 team.
Actually,
she's a phony.
Actually, she can have an AFC team and an NFC team, right? Now, it'd be different if she liked the Vikings and the Packers or something like that. But the Vikings and Chargers, there's nothing wrong with that.
Is really
I don't know. I mean, let a person be. Let them like who they like, Whitey. Why does there have to be a rule that you can only like 1 team?
It's not a matter of that. It's a matter of her showing the nation. Look at me, Chargers! Oh, look, the Chargers.
So based on one
fan.
picture. So all right, let me ask you this.
And she was in Vikings face paint in a Vikings jersey.
But when was that picture even taken?
She says she used to live in Minnesota.
Exactly. She used to live in Minnesota.
Still a Vikings fan.
Right. So let me ask you this. This is hypothetical. Hypothetical.
Okay.
I'm from Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Let's just say, I'm not going to use the Niners as an example because you cannot like the Niners and the Eagles. That's blasphemous. You just can't do it. But let's say I lived in Vegas. I still like the Eagles.
Yeah.
But I'm in Vegas, so I like the Raiders too. I want to see them do well.
Wouldn't surprise me because Eagle fans are notoriously fair weather fans.
We know
right?
that's not the truth.
Fair weather fans.
We know that's not the case.
Yeah.
But what is wrong with that?
Well, nothing.
As you grow and move, not everybody, Niners fans, stay in their own backyard. People actually move from here, from Sacramento, from the Bay Area. And so let me ask you this. If you move to Miami,
I don't have to pay taxes.
And you work for local radio down there, the home of the Dolphins, would you like the Dolphins?
Oh, if I worked down there?
I got it. Anytime somebody says, you know you got them, right?
Well,
that's all I'm saying.
I would work there. But here, you're missing the point. The point is that she presented herself as the ultimate Charger fan. And then she was on TV and it looked like she literally was going to die when they lost. Then some people said, I think that's fake. Then she comes out the next day. She's on with McAfee. No, I love the Chargers. Now, if she at that point had said, if at that point, the day after the game, if she had said, I also like the Vikings, but I'm a big football fan, then okay. But no, she didn't say that. I love the Chargers, live and die with the Chargers. And then it comes out, she's in a Viking uniform with face paint. And then she says, oh, I like the Vikings too. Phony! She's not who we thought she was. Or, depending on what you thought originally, maybe she was. Disappointing, that's all.
No, you know what? I need Simone.
Disappointing.
Simone. Get the poll up for me. Can you be a fan of two teams? I say yes.
I say you can like two teams.
But you can't be a diehard fan. You can't.
If you're not, by definition, if you're a fan of a team, then that's the team you are a fan of.
No, Whitey, this is 2023. This is the problem. Those are arcane rules. Dude, those are Neanderthal rules. Not taking a shot at you, but this is 2023 right here, big fella. People are allowed to like who they like.
I didn't say, you can like who you like, but don't come off and tell me you're a fan
She
of
didn't
this
ask
team.
for Monday Night Football to show her every 5 seconds.
The cameras were
she
on
didn't
her
know that.
the whole
She probably got a
time.
text or a tweet or something. You're on TV, and she played it up a little more. Nothing wrong with
She
that.
had a
Leave the
chance
woman alone.
to come
Let her do
clean.
her thing.
Yes, I love the
Let her
Chargers,
do her
but
thing.
I also like the Vikings. Okay, fine. But no, we had to have somebody find out the truth about her. Ha-ha! I just say, that's great. Like as many teams as you want. And then if your team loses, it's okay. My other team might win. That's great. Good for you.
I'm glad we have the YouTube chat up right now because everybody's agreeing with me. Pretty much everybody.
And I want to make sure I have the language correct this time for this poll. I don't want to be
Are
scrutinized.
you allowed to be a fan
Are you
of
allowed
two teams?
to be a fan of two teams? Okay, got it. I'm locking
Unless
it
Whitey
in.
want to, add some other words or
can you be a fan?
Can you be
a fan?
Are
of
you
two
a
teams?
fraud if you're a fan of two teams? How about that? Are you because you just called this lady a fraud?
Well, she clearly is, but I'm not saying everybody who likes two teams is a fraud. If you're upfront about it, I like my two teams. Can you be a true fan of more than one team? How about that? Can you be a true fan of more than one team?
Okay.
Well,
right? I don't know if I like that, but I'll let you get that.
Well, we're negotiating.
There it is,
here.
Simone, right there. Can you be a true fan?
Do you just want to say fan? Can you be a fan?
Can you be a fan?
I was going to put fans in quotations too.
Right. All right. Of more than one. But I'll take it a step farther.
Okay.
In every matchup, I like a team and I don't like. Like I pick and choose a matchup,
but you're not a fan of. Of course you do, but you're not a fan of that team. When I watched the Spurs and the Thunder last week, that exhibition game, I'm watching. I find myself, wow, I'm kind of rooting for the Thunder. Am I a Thunder fan? No. I like them. I like a lot of teams, but that doesn't make me a fan.
So let me ask you this.
Fanhood is something
so this lady
that is sacred.
Lives in Minnesota for 25 years.
Sure.
Then 20 years ago moved to California. I maintain that no matter what, you can be a fan of the place you grew up in. Like if that's your hometown, you always why she got to divulge that?
Because she's on TV and everyone's saying, "Hey, no one believes you're really a Charger fan." Oh, I am the biggest Charger fan.
Season ticket
That was
holder.
her chance
Is she
to
a
say,
season ticket holder?
I like the Vikings too.
You know what?
She did.
She's letting her money do the talking.
I think she can do whatever
She's a
she
season
wants.
ticket holder. She's a fan. She's there
Convince
every
me that you
game.
care that much about the Chargers when I know you also wear your Viking makeup and jerseys.
Did we finalize?
I don't know. Whitey's trying to add some language to skew it to her.
Can you be a fan of more than one team? Isn't that what we decided?
Yeah. Can you be a fan of more than one team?
Can you be a fan of more than one team? Yeah.
Got it.
I'll even take it another step, Whitey. And I know we're going to get to CMC here coming up, but I'm a fan of individual players. So, for instance, if my guy, let's say who am I a big fan of? Like, I really like this.
Brock
player.
Purdy?
No. For instance, let's say I'm a Brock Purdy fan. Let's say I was. We know I'm not, but let's say I was.
That's like that woman saying she's a Charger fan.
If
but
Brock Purdy went from San Francisco and then to Buffalo, I'm become a fan of the Bills because that's my guy, Brock Purdy. I want him to do well. I'm a cheer for him. So, for instance, Sacramento Kings fans, DeMarcus Cousins, when he was here, we liked the DMC. We cheered for him. We wanted him to win. If DMC goes to New Orleans, I want the best for DMC too. Just because a guy wears different laundry, a different uniform, or in this case, this woman wears a different hat, doesn't mean you stop cheering for that team.
Right, but that's two different things. That's, books and shoes. It's like you're trying to compare this woman claiming she's a diehard Chargers fan to someone saying, I like Cousins. If he's traded, I still hope he does well. As two different things. I agree. That's okay. That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. That's all right.
As my guy Jack says in the chat, man, root for as many teams as you want. You don't owe a team any loyalty. All the team wants is to extract as much of your money and attention as possible. That's big facts.
Mm-hmm.
Root for who you want to root for. Why is there... We need the Whitey stamp of approval now?
You root for whoever you want to root for. Just don't tell me you're a fan of this team if you also like that team and that team and that team and that team and that team.
You got me fired up. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You're not
Simone,
really a fan.
we got that
And
coming?
That's fine.
We got it coming. I want to hear from the people
And it looks
out
like
there.
the hotline's blowing up too.
People giving us a call, 916-339-1140. Can you be a fan of more than one team? Simple as that. Simple as that. I want to hear from you guys.
All right. We got to take a timeout. We'll get back to hopefully the voice of reason from the smartest listeners in radio, smartest viewers on YouTube. Also, we'll get to what's going on with Christian McCaffrey and the interesting source of the information we got on McCaffrey's injury. All that and more with the drive, guys, as we roll on here on Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Nature Wood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Ready for a sizzling football season? Take your game day parties to the next level with Napoleon Prestige Grills from Green Acres Nursery and Supply. Fire up the grill and score big with mouth-watering burgers, juicy steaks, and finger-licking wings. Napoleon Prestige Grills bring the heat and come complete with a lifetime warranty. Get your ultimate game day companion today. Visit your local Green Acres Nursery and Supply and elevate your tailgate experience with Napoleon Prestige Grills. Green Acres Nursery and Supply, your one-stop shop for grilling greatness this football season. Visit idategreenacres.com for the store near you. Game on.
This is the Red and Gold Report, brought to you by EB Stone. EB Stone for the life of your garden. Well, it was a gut punch week for the 49ers, losing their first game in a calendar year to the Cleveland Browns 19-17 on the road. Brock Purdy had his worst performance of his career, only throwing for 125 passing yards, 1 touchdown, and throwing his first interception of the season. Despite that, the 49ers had a chance to win the game, but missed it late due to a missed field goal by rookie kicker Jake Moody from 41 yards out. The 49ers will look to make good in Week 7 when they go on the road again against the Minnesota Vikings on Monday Night Football.
With over 100 years as a family-owned company, EB Stone's learned a few things about making plants grow. Start a healthy family hobby with indoor planting with EB Stone's Edna's Best indoor and outdoor potting soil to help your little plants grow into the perfect indoor plant for the kids and family to enjoy. EB Stone's indoor and outdoor potting soil is perfectly blended with all the important ingredients you need to create that perfect indoor and outdoor plant or garden. EB Stone for the life of your garden. Visit ebstone.org for more gardening tips, products, and locations near you.
Individual rates, coverage, offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions, not available in all areas.
Hey, small business owner, when's the last time you checked your workers' comp rate? For many small businesses, workers' comp insurance is one of their biggest costs. But some don't check their rate often. Did you know rates can vary? In fact, taking 3 minutes to check your rate with Pi Insurance could save you up to 30%. Just go to trypi.com, share a few details about your business, and get a quote that's customized for you with no hassle or hidden fees. We know you're busy, but spending just a few minutes to check your rate could save you money. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. See how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
It's easy to think all money managers are pretty much the same, but at Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Different? How? You sell high commission investment products, right?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission-based investment products.
Well, you must earn commissions on trades.
Nope, never at Fisher. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in our client's best interest. It's the highest standard of care for a financial advisor.
How do you know what's in their best interest?
We get to know our clients and then tailor a portfolio based on their goals and needs.
But you probably sneak in some hidden and layered fees.
No, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, you really do look out for your clients.
That's because our top priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. It might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investments and securities involve the risk of loss.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Take it on the local level. Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Happy Wednesday. I'm Simone, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. Last night, the Phillies sliced up the Diamondbacks in shutout fashion.
13th strikeout of the night for Phil's pitching as they shut out the Diamondbacks. A 10-0 rout. The Phillies will head west with a 2-0 lead in the National League Championship Series.
Conversely, Game 3 of the ALCS continues tonight from Arlington as the Rangers host the Astros. That Texas standoff draws at 5:03. Sacramento Kings face off with the Golden State Warriors tonight for a second straight preseason game. Of course, we here at Sactown Sports will have your complete comprehensive game night coverage dumping off right after the Drive Guys beginning at 5:30 with tip-off from Chase Center at 7.
Oh.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
Drive Guys here getting you ready for the Kings and the Warriors tonight, but we're putting that on the back burner for now because we're in the middle of a rather heated debate, which was sparked by the woman at the Charger game Monday who was so emotional and so happy with the Chargers doing great, and then, she was falling apart, coming apart at the seams when they weren't. A lot of people thought, well, that's fake. That's probably an actress. She went on McAfee the next day, Tuesday, and then she said, oh, no, I'm a Charger season ticket holder. Someone, as you pointed out yesterday, Kyle, someone even called the Carmichael Dave show on Tuesday and said, oh, no, I've watched games with her. She's legit. But then it came out, I think, late yesterday, photos of her surfaced on the internet of her wearing a Vikings jersey with purple paint. And she said, well, yeah, I used to live in Minnesota, so of course, I'm a Vikings fan too. So phony. Are you the greatest Charger fan ever? You can't be if you're also a Vikings fan. So that led to our poll question. And Simone took some producer liberties here. Here's what she finally, here's how she finally phrased it. I think she did a good job. Can you be a fan of more than one team simultaneously? That's the question on our YouTube chat. Absolutely not loyal to your soul. Absolutely not loyal to your soil. Or, yep, variety is the spice of life.
And I have some early returns I'd like to give you.
Yes.
57% say, yup, variety is the spice of life.
It's early.
Oh, and it just changed on me. 53% to 47. So it's still time to vote on our poll on the Sactown Sports YouTube page. But no, man, it's 2023. Like who you like is what I say.
Like who you like. Enjoy it. Just don't come and tell me that you're a fan of more than one team, because you're not. And that's great. That's fine.
You're calling a woman a fraud, though.
Well,
that's strong.
Yeah,
that's strong.
She's pretty much revealed as a fraud.
And when was that Vikings picture taken? That might have been 10 years ago.
I don't care, but she didn't say that. She didn't say, that was a long time ago. I'm not a Vikings fan anymore. That's not what she said.
She likes the Vikings?
Oh, yeah, Vikings. Yay. They're my team, too. If you have two teams, you don't actually have any.
Oh, my God.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Mitch joins us on Sactown Sports. Hey, Mitch, thanks for hanging on. What's up?
Well, how you guys doing? Thanks for taking my call.
Good, good.
No, the Vikings and Chargers, those are the best uniforms. You don't mess with. Maybe she looks good, and I haven't seen it. So where does she go by? I haven't seen it. I'm too busy working.
Yeah.
I'll probably won't be able to turn the computer. That's how literate I am with computers. I agree. I think why not like more than one team? I'm the king of it. I like more than one team. I'm talking Pac-12, basketball, football, baseball. I got my main. Sometimes it's just the uniform, the hometown. Well, your favorite players from college. So what's the big deal? I mean, plays move. It's not like the old days.
All right, thank you, Mitch.
Thanks, Mitch. Appreciate that.
In you, but
Mitch is my guy. He's on the right side.
Yeah.
You know, when it's all said and done, Mitch will be on the right side of history. You won't be. That's all. That's it.
He did raise an interesting point.
Yes.
I do know you can be a fan of different teams in different sports.
Yes, we got that. Yeah, we all agree on that.
I'm not saying.
No, you only got to have one team for your whole life. No, we got that, bitch.
The way you like to try to twist.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
Butch joins us on Sactown Sports. Butch, on the drive, guys. Hello, what's up?
Great, guys. How you doing?
Good.
Hey, you definitely have a fan of each league. For instance, AFC and NFC. I got the Chargers in the AFC and the 49ers in the NFC. However, when it came down to the Super Bowl that the Chargers met the 49ers, it was all Chargers then.
Right. And so I agree. You know, when they play each other, you got to declare one. You can't be 50-50. Oh, whoever wins, I'm fine with. I'm a winner. But if they never play each other, if they rarely see each other, think about it in baseball before we had interleague play. You could be a fan of, let's say, I don't know,
you ever seen
Braves and the Tigers.
Have you ever seen the A's Giants split hats? Have you ever seen those?
I haven't seen them.
They came out in the 80s, I think, is when they first came out with those. And they would wear them at the Bay Bridge Series in the preseason. And it's half a Giants hat, half an A's hat. They're horrible.
I was about to say now, but if they're rivals, like if you're a Dodgers fan and a Giants fan, I can't get with that.
But anybody that says, and you can say what you want, but when you say, I'm a fan of two teams, you're a split capper in my mind. I'm sorry. That's
you call it
you are a split
So this
capper.
girl's a split capper? She's a fraud and a split capper?
I'm not sure which is worse, but she's both. Thank you, Butch, for the call.
Butch,
Appreciate
thanks, man.
that.
Good
Sorry
stuff.
that Super Bowl didn't work out for you, did it? You were pulling for the Chargers there. How about Phil on Sactown Sports? Hello, Phil.
Hey, how's it going, man?
It's not going well for me right now, Phil. I'll tell you what, I'm a little upset.
Why?
I'm upset because everyone's agreeing with Kyle right now. That's why.
Well, see, I'm a fan of two teams. Y'all gonna have you for this one. I'm a fan of the Niners and the Raiders.
Well, I've heard of people like that. I mean, I've heard stories. I didn't know they actually existed.
Yeah. So my household is a Niner fan, but we will go to the bars when I was a kid and watch the Raiders play, like if they were playing in a different time zone. And then I grew up watching both, so that's how I became a fan of both.
All right. Whatever works for you, Phil, and if it makes you happy, that's great. Yeah, like I said, I've heard legends of people like that. And I thought, that's not real.
That's kind of tough,
it's like
right?
Bigfoot,
That's
fan of the Raiders and the 49ers.
Right.
Come on.
That's like that's like being a Warriors and Kings fan right now. That can't happen.
Thank you, Phil.
Not as different.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate your listening. Appreciate that. I don't know. Based on the phone votes here. I think
You're losing this one pretty badly.
Yeah, I'm falling deeper and deeper.
But you still got time to come back. You still got time to come back. People can still vote on our YouTube page, Sactown Sports 1140. Right now, I'm still winning, 57 to 43. But this is 2023, White.
I know.
This isn't 1980 where you got to declare. You got to declare a team and you got to stick with them your whole life and all this. No. Players move. Why can't fans move?
You can.
Okay.
You just, if you're going to move around and have more than one, again, that's different. You can pick different teams, but if you have more than one team, you're not a fan of either team, no matter what our poll says or this guy says.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Is there an age requirement for this?
No.
Like, can kids be a fan of two teams? Can young Johnny at home like the Warriors and let's say the Celtics?
How old is Johnny? You know, if they're
Let's
really
say
young,
he's
they don't know the difference.
10.
So it's then
Is
a
that
parent
okay?
has to say, Johnny?
Is Johnny a fraud also?
Well, that's where you need some parental guidance. Johnny, look, that's cute, but you have to be a fan of one. I'm sorry. That's what a good parent does.
Sit him down at a young age, right?
To him,
Help him.
Johnny, I know why you want to root for the Raiders and the 49ers, but it's not done.
It's not done. We don't do that in this
you
house,
can root
right?
for whichever one you want, but not both. That's all.
Oh, my gosh.
That's all. Yeah. Let's take a quick timeout. Make sure you get your votes in now if you believe that you cannot be a fan of more than one team. I'd appreciate it, and I need the help. And, yeah, then we'll come back and take a look at Christian McCaffrey and what's interesting about some of the information and how we're getting the information about McCaffrey's injury. It's a Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
Can the Niners build off their NFC Championship appearance from last season? How will the quarterbacks perform throughout the year?
Purdy's back, now going to throw for the end zone, wide open, Brandon Ayuk is on fire!
Will the defense lead this squad again?
Intercepted! Ball got tipped up and taken by Fred Warner!
Get all your 49er coverage throughout the NFL season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Oh, I think we're lost again.
Wait, what does that sign over there say?
Caution wildlife crossing?
No, next to it.
If you are 60 or older, you may be at increased risk of serious consequences from RSV, respiratory syncytial virus, compared to adults younger than 60. Ouch, I didn't know that.
Not all dangers come with warning labels. Talk to your pharmacist or doctor about getting vaccinated against RSV today. RSV vaccines, including Pfizer's, are available. Learn more at bewareofrsv.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Quick Quack Car Wash is a proud partner of the Sacramento Kings and can't wait for the upcoming season. To celebrate, Quick Quack is giving one lucky duck a pair of lower-level tickets to the Kings home opener versus Golden State on October 27th. Enter for your chance to win this epic opening night showdown by going to SactownSports.com. Be there for the Kings versus Golden State, courtesy of Quick Quack, where you can wash your car all you want with an unlimited membership.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Sactown Sports.
Speaking of football, televised primetime game versus the Montana State Bobcats. Kickoff at 7:30. Get your tickets at hornetsports.com. Before we get to Christian McCaffrey, I have to admit, Kyle, dear listener, I'm a little worried about Jake Moody. I saw some numbers today that rattled me. The fact that he missed 2 kicks, either one of which would have won the game Sunday, rattled me. But this was very rattling. Some numbers here on how he has done, even going back to college, at home as opposed to on the road. Have you seen these numbers?
No, I have not seen these numbers. I would like to hear this.
Jake Moody, this is according to SI.com and Fan Nation. Jake Moody has been missing field goals on the road at an alarming rate since college. At Michigan, when he was at home, he made 44 of 49 field goal attempts, or 88.9%. That's at home. But on the road, he made 19 of 28.
Ooh, that is not good.
67.9%. So then whoever wrote this goes on to suggest, well, this would suggest that Moody's inaccuracy could be a mental issue. I don't know what it is, but we've seen that this year in the NFL as well, right? At home,
yes.
Hey, money. On the road in Cleveland, a little discouraging.
Right. Or that house of horrors known as Philadelphia, December 3rd, or the NFC Championship.
By that.
Exactly. You know, I just pulled up this article by Grant Cohn. I don't know how people feel about him. This was written on SI.com.
He likes the 49ers about as much as you do.
The fan page, the headline says the 49ers have put Jake Moody in an impossible position. He says Moody looks miserable on the sidelines. He frowns. The rookie looks like he has the weight of the world on his shoulders, and in a sense, he does. He has to replace Robbie Gould, the 9th most accurate kicker ever in terms of percentages. And he says, unlike Brock Purdy, who came in and replaced Jimmy Garoppolo, Shanahan can draw up plays for Brock Purdy. He got other people he can lean on. For Jake Moody, nothing Shanahan or anybody else can do. He says the 49ers might need to bring back Robbie Gould pronto.
What's the word for that? I think that's garbage.
I'm just saying what the guy is reading.
I understand.
That's not my take.
I understand.
I'm just saying what he's saying.
The scary thing is that if this were to continue for another game or two, then I think you might have a discussion. Right. But as far as what did he say? They've put him in an unfair position. Did he say
impossible position?
Come on,
impossible.
He's a kicker.
He's replacing a legend.
Yeah, Robbie Gould was a really effective kicker, but you were doing shows this summer. How many calls did you get from people? No, Robbie Gould, no, you can't.
Right.
It's not like they traded Mickey Mantle or something or Chris Webber or right.
No, I'm just saying what Grant said. That's it.
It's difficult. But the scary thing is that it looked like, all right, he's got it. He's making kicks. And that's the bottom line. You make the kicks, everything's fine.
Right.
And then to miss 2 in a game like that, I saw somewhere, I think Matt Barrows wrote this, the kicker, Justin Tucker, there's no better kicker, right? Perhaps
correct.
ever.
Yes.
He's also missed 2 kicks this year. So if you look at that, it's like, well, I guess it's okay. But he missed 2 kicks, did Moody, in a game where either one of them would have won the game.
Right.
Him, so.
He missed a game winner. That's something Justin Tucker does not do. He's Mr. Automatic.
Not typically. I thought this was interesting as well. And maybe I'm reading too much into it. Please, if you think I am, Kyle, let me know. Christian McCaffrey. Here's a story from yesterday. I know Emil came in and shared this with us. This is from ESPN. Christian McCaffrey avoided a long-term injury and has a chance to play Monday night against the Vikings, league sources told ESPN's Adam Schefter. A couple of things about that are really interesting to me. First of all is that we still don't know what the injury is. And I know there's HIPAA laws, and I think tomorrow would be when Kyle Shanahan is supposed to announce the injuries.
The game, yeah.
But, it has been vague. The descriptions of the injury have been pretty vague, whereas Trent Williams, he sprained his ankle, not a high ankle sprain. And Deebo is a shoulder. It's oblique rib. Well, what is it? And the fact that it's coming from sources and that he has a chance to play, it made me wonder, where is this coming from and why? And you know that Adam Schefter once wrote a book with Mike Shanahan?
I didn't know that until you put it in the rundown earlier.
Yeah, years ago. And Adam Schefter in the past has broken stories that have to do with Mike Shanahan. And I'm not suggesting there's anything untoward here, but it looks to me like somebody in the Niners camp said through Mike or Kyle, like, hey, Adam, we need you to report this because it helps us. Again, if it's true, that's fine. But there's something about it that's a little odd because it's like, oh, it looks like he could be okay. Well, what's wrong? We don't know. I don't know if he's going to play Monday. And then they have the game, against Cincinnati? Maybe he sits out 2 games, then they have the bye.
And then they have the bye. And, reading this article on ESPN, there's not much meat to it, though.
See what
It's just like, put this out there for me.
Yes.
I'm not going to give you any more details or nothing to flesh it out. He really doesn't say anything, really. Is just that he avoided a long-term injury and has a chance to play.
Yeah.
The question I have is, why would Kyle do that? If the sources happen to be Shanahan or his dad or whatever, why would Kyle do that?
Maybe one thing is you send that message to the Vikings that, hey, you better prepare for
CMC.
CMC, yeah.
You might be right about. You might be on to something.
That's the way coaches think.
Because when I'm reading this article, this does not seem like normal Adam Schefter reporting to me.
There's no detail.
There's no details at all. It's just he could play, and that's about it. Mm-hmm. And so now if you're Minnesota, you read that and, we got to prepare for him. And so I get what you're saying. At first I was like, why is Whitey even why is this a segment? But I see what you're talking about because there's nothing there other than the headline, basically.
Yeah. So there seems to be a truth here that they're trying to conceal what that is. Maybe it's just as simple as we don't know if he's going to play this week and we want them to think he's going to play. But I'll be keeping an eye on that. Obviously, we hope he's fine, but just there's a vagueness to this. Then when you consider it's Schefter, his relationship to the Shanahans, it just makes me wonder, okay, fine, but what's really going on? And
little gamesmanship. But
we'll find out soon enough.
Yeah, we'll find out come Thursday, tomorrow, when the injury report comes out. The game on Monday. With that being said, as a Niners fan, I would imagine people would be like, hey, go for it. The gamesmanship, we love it. You don't want to reveal, your game plan and who's playing or who's not until you have to against the Vikings.
And it also is possible, don't you think it's probable that they are waiting to see how he feels right now? And
there's
maybe
still a lot of time to go before kickoff. But I see your point regarding that. Yes, I do.
Maybe he's got it. Well, I don't want to speculate on it, but it is odd. So if I had to guess right now, I'd say I don't think he's playing Monday, but we'll find out soon enough. Now, did you hear what Micah Parsons had to say?
I did. He went on a little rant. He got emotional, it felt like.
Yeah, Micah Parsons has his podcast. Of course, he was very excited that the Cowboys beat the Chargers. The game where that fraud was there cheering and was on TV and everything. But Micah Parsons, does he have a point here? He says the media has a double standard when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. Oh, we had that audio. Do we have that audio? Yeah, we're going to get it in just a second here. Anyway, he claims that the media holds the Cowboys to higher standards. When they lose, it's like, oh, Dak's terrible, and this team's terrible. And when the Eagles or 49ers lose, it's like, oh, they lost the game. That's what Micah Parsons says. What do you think of that?
No, you know what it is, Micah Parsons, and I get it. You're a Cowboys, you play for the Cowboys. I get it.
I'm sorry, Cowboys.
We got the audio? Yeah. All right, I'll react.
Here's Micah Parsons.
I just don't condone the bashing of Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys and have the same energy for the Eagles. We want the same energy for everybody because there's a whole bunch of bashing when it's Dak Prescott, but not the same when it's the Eagles. I got time today. A lot of people said the Browns defense was overhyped. I said the Browns are the real deal. Acho said this, which pissed me off. I'm not worried about the 49ers. They were missing Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel. The Browns were missing Deshaun Watson, Nick Chubb. They were missing them key factors before the game even started. So why is it that we are just scrubs and we're nobodies that don't deserve to be on the field and we're just all talk? But there's 100 excuses for these other teams. If y'all just want to hate Cowboys Nation, just say y'all hate Cowboys Nation. I'm tired of people trashing my quarterback. I'm tired of people trashing my team. And that's why I had nothing to say to the media this week. You want to hear me talk? Come to hear me talk on The Edge Monday night. And that's point blank period.
Okay, I hate Cowboys Nation. Right? Be clear, right?
I'm with you on that. But you know what it is, and Micah Parsons, because your team got mollywopped last week against the Niners, your quarterback obviously was the talk all week and his 3 picks. So you're a little sensitive right now. I get it. But you just came off a nice win, a good win, a much-needed win. The problem, Micah Parsons, he needs to have that same energy after week 2 and 3 when everybody was hyping the Cowboys up. The Cowboys are that franchise that elicits reactions, whether good or bad. You either love them or you hate them. So when they struggle, there's going to be a lot of venom. But when you play well, when Dak plays well, look at earlier this season. Remember the opener and against the Giants, I think it was? That defense was, and everybody was saying, oh, this might be the year for the Cowboys. And so Dallas is that franchise that love them or hate them, win or lose, they are going to be the talk. They are going to elicit a reaction. And so when you put that star on your helmet, you have to expect that, I think.
Micah Parsons is a great player. He's a young guy, and he probably needs to take a broader view of this. I mean, this maybe is before your time as well, but the Dallas Cowboys are self-proclaimed America's team.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. But then, of course, people are going to hold you to a higher standard. And when you consider yourself one of the crown jewels of the NFL, franchise that is always about Super Bowls and nothing else, well, the 49ers and Eagles have actually been to Super Bowls this century.
Right.
Your team's actually won one.
Exactly.
Right?
And you're talking about 2 teams that just played in an NFC championship game. So you're going to give them a little more leeway when they, hit a bump or something like that. The Cowboys, meanwhile, they're a regular season team that always struggles in the playoffs. And so once you hit a bump in the road, it's like, here we go again. The Cowboys, it's par for the course. Like, it's what comes with it. Think about this. Remember, I used to be a Cowboys fan. Believe it or not, I used to be a Cowboys fan. I've admitted that. I've gone on record on that. I own that.
Why aren't you a Cowboys fan and an Eagles fan? What's wrong with that?
They're in the same division. Now that's different what this lady is doing.
What's the difference?
There's no difference in that.
I don't know.
They're hated rivals.
Okay, all
it's
right,
like
okay.
being a Kings-Lakers fans back in 2002.
All right.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
It's just now that's
I didn't mean to derail
That's
you.
a rule. No, but I used to be a Cowboys fan. But what turned me is Tony Romo. I always felt like there was this love affair with Tony Romo, who was a very good regular season quarterback, but never got it done. And so if you're Dallas, show me something. What have you done since 1994? What have the Cowboys really done since 1994?
Well, we built a really nice stadium.
Exactly. So if Micah Parsons is tired of the criticism, I need him to have that same energy when everybody is hyping him up. They open up 2-0, 3-0, everybody's feeling good or whatever. Well, I need to have that same energy then. Like, hold on, pump the brakes, we don't deserve that. He's not going to say that. He's going to walk around and act like, what? They're the best thing since sliced bread. And so he needs to have that same energy when everybody is hyping up the Cowboys too.
I like Micah Parsons a lot. I'd love to have him on my team no matter who my team is, but that's embarrassing what he said. It's not fair.
Right. And he's trying to stick up for his quarterback. But you know what, Micah Parsons? It comes down to this, Whitey. Tell your quarterback to play better.
Mm-hmm.
Don't lose to the Arizona Cardinals. Don't hype up the big game against the Niners and come out and lay an egg. A way to silence your critics is to play good football and win games. That's all you got to do. You ain't got to go on your podcast. You ain't got to whine to the media. You ain't got to go through he's like boycotting the media. That's why I didn't. You don't need to do all that. Just win football games and the love will come.
Thank you, Al Davis. Just win, Micah. Coming up next, can we please get rid of this tush push? Can we?
Nope.
Please. Can we please? I know it's legal and everything. Well, we'll get to it. Tell you why the NFL is taking a long look at it and why some think, no, it belongs and it's going to be around for a long time. That's next with the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. We're looking at plenty of sunshine for today, light northwest winds, and it's going to run warmer. Expect highs in the upper 80s to about 90 degrees in a few spots and overnight lows in the upper 50s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
You know what time it is. It's time to trade up to a brand new Kia at Folsom Lake Kia. Trade up to the newest technology with a low payment. Shop Folsom Lake Kia, family owned for over 20 years.
The game of football is about pain. Ever since I was 5 years old, it's been all about football. It's been about running, jumping, blocking, tackling. I stopped playing at 31.
You're listening to Michael Robinson, retired pro fullback.
I thought that foot pain was going to be with me for the rest of my life. I'm so glad I met good feet. I'm so glad that those arch supports are in my shoes. I had terrible foot issues that prevented me from really having a normal life with my kids. With the good feet arch supports, man, I'm always ready. My kids actually got to enjoy me in the yard more, racing each other, backpedaling, teaching them some things, being a dad. If I had known about the good feet arch support earlier, I would have more than one championship. I would have 2 championship rings.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
Good Feet in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville.
It's no secret to golf enthusiasts that Timber Creek and Sierra Pines in Roseville are one of the region's most unique and scenic places to enjoy a great game of golf. 27 holes, boundless options. Elevate your game on our newly renovated driving range, putting green, and chipping area. Whether you're aiming for fun, lower scores, or all-around growth, we've got you covered. Experience golfing dreams in Roseville and book your tee time at timbercreekgc.com. Timber Creek and Sierra Pines, your ultimate golf haven.
Sactown Sports is home to the Kings, Niners, and now the business of sports. Hosted by Kelly Brothers and brought to you by Cap Trust, offering customized, independent financial advice at captrust.com. Join Kelly Brothers, Carmichael, Dave, and Jason as they look at the business of sports every Thursday at 7:40 a.m. You want to know how sports really work? Follow the money with Kelly Brothers from Cap Trust on Sactown Sports. The city of Sacramento offers grass conversion rebates to help you replace your thirsty lawn with a naturally water-efficient landscape. Whether you own a home or business in Sacramento, you may be eligible. Learn more at sacwaterwise.com.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters, right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with zero down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at folsomlakeford.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLakeFord.com.
Zero down with approved credit.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Happy Wednesday. I'm Simone, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. Last night, the Phillies sliced up the Diamondbacks in shutout fashion.
13th strikeout of the night for Phil's pitching as they shut out the Diamondbacks. A 10-0 rout. The Phillies will head west with a 2-0 lead in the National League Championship Series.
Conversely, Game 3 of the ALCS continues tonight from Arlington as the Rangers host the Astros. That Texas standoff draws at 5:03. Sacramento Kings face off with the Golden State Warriors tonight for a second straight preseason game. Of course, we here at Sactown Sports will have your complete comprehensive game night coverage jumping off right after the Drive Guys beginning at 5:30 with tip-off from Chase Center at 7. Oh. I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. Let's get you back into the Drive Guys.
Your new home for 49ers football in the 916. Sactown Sports.
Kings at Chase Center tonight. Kyle Draper, Whitey Gleason, and I was kind of dreading what the Chase Center was going to look like because, you know, the Golden One Center, we built it here, what was it, 2016 when they built the Golden One Center? Around there. And, you know, incredible. And then, you know, okay, the Warriors have their newer building. They can benefit from experience and learn from what the Kings did. And because I was in the Bay Area and I did a lot of Warrior stuff, so I got to go to the building, and it's a beautiful building, but it doesn't have the character as that the Golden One has.
No, it doesn't. And I don't want to dump on, you know.
No, it's a beautiful building.
It's a beautiful, but
yeah,
from a fan's perspective, it's light years behind Golden One Center. I say Golden One Center is the best arena in the NBA. In terms of a fan experience, ease of getting in and out, concession stands, you don't feel like if you go get a beer or a drink or whatever, you're missing a ton of action. You can still feel the vibe. Like everywhere inside Golden One Center, especially the concourse, the lower area, you feel like you're a part of the action. And the sight lines are great throughout the building as well. Mm-hmm. Chase Center, I feel like you can get lost in a little bit. Like, you know, you make a wrong turn. You know, there's a section where you don't even feel like you're inside an arena when you're in there. Like,
well, I know what you're talking about. I think if you're talking about the elevators and the catacombs when you're trying to get to the media room.
Right,
you literally can. It's like, wait, where
am I? Yeah. Are we still inside the building? Are we still inside the arena? And so, yeah, it's you know what? They spent a lot of money, but it's not Oracle. You know, it's not what it used to be. And I used to go to the games, like when I traveled with the Celtics and we'd have to go to Oakland. those were real, like, you could feel the heart and soul of the Warriors in that building, in the fabric of that facility, in that building. You know, Chase Center is still is like a little corporate. It has a corporate feel to it. Yeah,
and it is. And I'm not trying to go out of my way to bash that place because it's nice, but it was kind of a relief to see, wow, the Golden One Center has more character. The hangar doors, for example.
Yes.
That's such a cool feature.
Right.
And Chase is right there by the water. But when you're watching a basketball game, that doesn't matter.
That doesn't matter. And, you know, and you can't just walk up the aisle, like go up and, you know, let's say you're on the floor and you want to get up to the concourse area. You can't just go up. Like there are certain stairs you have to, it's just not user friendly like Golden One Center is.
One thing that's interesting to me, you mentioned last week, I think you were talking about Raymond Ritter, and he gave me and John Dickinson, my broadcast partner, he gave us a tour inside Chase, and they have in the visitors locker room, it's the only in-ground hot and cold tubs in the league, he said. So they have a lot of stuff like that we would never know about, designed to, you know, when visiting players come through there, hey, this place is pretty nice.
Yeah.
And some of the
they got some of those
that
bells and whistles.
You know, I wasn't in. But so some of the things that make it really special are things that most of us would never see. But just in terms of going there, game experience, hey, this building, well, it kind of looks like it's trying to be Oracle, and it's not. But here, the Golden One is like no other arena in the league.
Yes, it really is. And, you know, the fan experience is great. They got some new things as well at Golden One Center, and I'm sure we'll talk about that next week. I haven't checked it out yet, but they have like this Golden One like fan interactive thing that they just announced today. It just opened today. And so where fans can, I think, practice dribbling and shooting, and like they made it more fan friendly, even more so than what it already is.
Do they have anything there to improve your defense? Because maybe the players could come up and
defensive slide drills or something like that.
I'm kidding.
Ouch.
Brought to you by Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. So looking forward to the regular season finally starting, and we're almost there. As for football, and just to clarify here, Kyle, I'm not coming after your team. I know your team, because your team is taking advantage of the rules. The Eagles have applied for a trademark for brotherly shove. Okay, that's clever. I get it. But there's some question as to whether that play will remain legal beyond this season. And again, I get it. They do it better than anybody else. If it's legal to do it, you should do it. You'd be stupid not to. I do hope that the league takes a look at that and says, yeah, we don't need it in the NFL next year. It's just, to me, it's not football. It's kind of like rugby.
Let me ask you this.
Involved, and it has nothing to do.
Yes, it totally does. It totally does. If the
team.
Niners mastered this, you wouldn't have a problem. Let's say they hand the ball off to the running back. He runs to the line, and then they push him in.
No pushing.
That's okay. So you want to outlaw pushing of all.
The play became legal in the NFL in 2005 when the league removed language in the book prohibiting pushing offensive players. So 2005, until 2005, you could not push a player forward. I remember seeing, it might have been the Fridge or somebody pushing somebody in the end zone. That's a flag. You can't. And that makes sense. It's like, no. There was a reason why you couldn't push somebody, your teammate, into the end zone.
It's on the official to blow the play dead when they feel like forward momentum movement has stopped. And so the push, or as I like to refer to it, the brotherly shove.
Yeah. Be careful because they have applied for the trademark.
Hey, I'm from Philly. I got carte blanche over there. You know, they'll let me use it. You can't use it. They'll let me use it. But it's part of football. It's like James Harden in the step back. You know, like just because
all of the step back 4 steps, the step back and back and back and back.
I'm just saying.
It is like that.
Nobody said that you had to take 2 steps forward going to the basket. They never clarified that. So you got the step back with the 2 steps. Same thing with the brotherly shove. You know,
right? They're both
playing by the rules.
They are.
And Dallas tried it the other day. And you saw what happened. They didn't get it.
Didn't work.
And Dak said, my guys didn't push me hard enough. They got to push harder. And so just because the Eagles have mastered it.
It's not about the Eagles.
Yes, it is, man. Every other team can do it.
The Giants tried to push Daniel Jones Monday night game against the Seahawks, and their center and their tight end was not funny. They both got hurt on the play. So that's the league is going to say that, let's see, we're looking at players, if it's safe, player safety. There'll be more data, whether there's injuries or not. There will be success rates. There will be teams that will have an opinion, and that's according to the guy who's in charge of the competition committee, I guess. So the competition committee is reviewing this. They're going to take a long, hard look at it. And yes, the Eagles take advantage of the rules. They do it very well. But I just hope it's not part of football next year, because to me, that's not a football play. They should have never allowed pushing in 2005, which is what led to this. Pox upon our game.
Oh, my God. I have no problem. So it's okay for defenders to gang up on a guy and push him back.
Yes.
But not the offense.
Right. Offense.
So let me ask you, goal line plays, can you do it or no? You want to outlaw it forever? Like,
no pushing. You can't push a ball carrier, and you couldn't until 2005. And I would like to go back to that rule, because, you can block someone. You can push,
this is fake outrage right now. This is what, and I'm not talking just you. I'm talking to everybody who really is upset.
Play.
So what? So what? It's football. Football isn't always pretty. Every play doesn't have to be a 20-yard pass play or a sweep or anything like that. Sometimes it gets down and dirty and grimy and gritty, and sometimes the game is won in the trenches. And so the Eagles have mastered it because their line is great. Their quarterback knows how to run it. The running backs behind them know how to run it as well. And so it may not be pretty, but there are a lot of plays that aren't pretty in the NFL.
It's not very artful, and it's not very skill-based.
So should we get rid of the kickoff also?
Well, that's going to happen. That's a whole different thing. But you know as well as I do that we're headed that way.
We talk about injuries. I would venture more players get hit on punt coverage than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Do we get rid of punts now too?
They're probably going to do that eventually. But I'm not worried about the injuries. The league may use that as a means by which to say we can't do this anymore. But it just comes down to, it's not a very artistic play, and it doesn't look good.
How many times is it done per game? That's what I want to know. So you want to take this out because the Eagles do it 3 times per game or 4 or whatever it is?
The Eagles have, and to their credit, they've converted a high rate. 37 times they've converted, 41 times they've run it.
41 times in 6 games. So do the math right there. 6.5, 7 times per game.
That's too much to me. I think 1 time is too much. Now, if the league decides, if they vote on it and decide that's still going to be part of the game, all right, then, I'll learn to live with it. But now, given that they're looking at that, I urge them to say, we don't need that in our game. By the way, Jerry Jones says he likes the quarterback push play.
Oh, you had to say that, right?
That's right.
Because it's hard for me to agree with Jerry Jones on anything. How about this? Just let the Eagles win the Super Bowl this year and then take it out. I'll be okay with that. That's a
they're not
fair
going to take
trade.
it out before the year's over. Wouldn't that be great if that's how they win?
I understand.
It's like a Three Stooges movie or something. Pushing the guy into the Keystone Cops. That's great. What a great play.
How come this wasn't an issue 3 years ago?
Because nobody was smart enough, frankly, to take advantage of it.
It's like I said, James Harden. 20 years ago, they could have been doing the step back like James Harden. He was the initiator, the originator, and he's the one that changed the game. And now people want to outlaw the step back. They want to come up with rules and all that.
Outlaw a guy taking 4 steps backwards. That's not basketball.
I agree.
Okay.
2 steps. You get 2 steps. That's it.
Not going
Same
backwards.
thing with push. Yes. 2 steps going backwards. Why not? 2 steps to the side.
That's why you have a dribble.
Brotherly shove.
Yeah. It's here to stay, at least for this year. I urge you, members of the National Football League, I think it's Rich McKay, maybe. He's the guy in charge of the competition committee. Vote it down. You have it this year. We'll live with it. Get it out of your system. No more. Football back to skill-based football next year. No more. We have more fat guys that can push better than you guys, so we're going to score a touchdown. All right?
All right, I'm for it. Go for it. Go, and we got the best offensive line in the NFL. It's not going to matter to us.
That's right. You can find other ways to score. Coming up next, a broadcast legend who has had it. It seems like everything I say now, I'm coming after you. But
I know, right?
Broadcast legend who has had it with all the Taylor Swift stuff during football games. It's next here. Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Has Monty put together a roster that can help make a deep playoff run this season?
Just trying to give coach options, give him guys that can help us win in a variety of areas. Obviously, our top guys are going to play every game, but there's going to be other times, whether it's injuries, matchups, we've got to have some variety on the bench for coach to point to and say, go in there and help us win.
Tune into every Kings game this season
on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Not sure if you've heard, but when the temperatures go low, Kohl's goes lower. No, seriously. They've got their lowest prices of the season right now. I just went and found my whole family cozy fleece for just $14.99. Boots for under $40. And an entire cookware set for under $70. Plus iron Kohl's cash. So hurry and get the cold weather stuff you need for the hottest prices. Select styles. Offers end October 22nd. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohls.com for details.
At Ashton & Price, we get injury victims to yes. Experience, yes. Ashton & Price has been around for over 25 years. No more insurance companies? Yes. Our clients focus on getting better, and we handle all the rest. Results? Yes. We've collected over $100 million for injury victims. No fee until we win? Yes. Our clients pay nothing until we win. Ashton & Price, the best at getting to yes. Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
You can live out your MasterChef dreams when you find a professional on Angie to tackle your dream kitchen remodel. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now. Ooma. What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Ooma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 50 features.
Ooma?
Yep. Switching to Ooma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Find small business calm at ooma.com/radio. That's OOMA.com/radio.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
How far do you hit your 7-iron? Writer Josh Senn says it has implications for your enjoyment of the game as well as your pace of play. In a survey of 700 PGA and LPGA professionals, they say roughly 75% of female golfers and 50% of males play from distances that exceed their ability. Rounds are time-consuming and the game becomes less fun. The PGA, LPGA, and USGA spent years crunching numbers, surveying players, and reached guidelines based on your 7-iron distance. If you hit your 7-iron 140 yards, best course length is 5,900 to 6,100 yards. If your 7-iron goes 125 yards, play from 5,400 to 5,600 yards. If you bash your 7-iron 170 yards, play wherever you want. On a recent golf trip to Grey Eagle, the G-Man Gary Gerald and I moved up a tee and thoroughly enjoyed ourselves hitting greens and putting for birdies. Give it a try and see if you don't have more fun. But the putting, well, that's on you. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own one report.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sactown Sports.
Got the Kings and the Warriors tonight. To drive guys, Whitey Gleason, Kyle Draper. Could you give us an update, Kyle, on our poll today?
Yes.
YouTube chat.
Can you be a fan of more than one team simultaneously? Absolutely not. Loyal to your soil. Or, yep, variety is the spice of life. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
50-50 right now.
Seriously, I had no idea.
A dead tie right now.
I don't have the numbers here.
You don't have the numbers. I got the numbers right here. 50%. Still time to vote. on our YouTube page, Sactown Sports 1140.
Still time to do what's right.
Exactly. You're making a comeback, though.
Yeah.
Your side of things making a comeback. You know, the entire poll last hour or so, 49 minutes, everybody was on my side. It was 57-43, but you guys have come back. Your side has come back.
You raise a really interesting point. I wonder to what extent it is kind of generational. If there are more younger people that are less tied to a particular team, or more, especially fantasy football players, like, well, I got guys on all these different teams. I wonder.
And think about it also like this. We know players change teams, but people move around a lot more.
Right.
You know, you got transplants from all over now, and they carry some of that loyalties, but they also want to root for the local team as well. And so as people change cities and move around even more, I think you'll see more of that going forward.
But at the same time, we have some of, if not the very best NBA fans here.
Oh, yeah. We you know what upsets me, though? And I'm going to just say it. I don't know if I should say it, but I'm going to just say it. You ever see that Homer Simpson meme where he's in his hedges and he got one team hat on, and then he backs into the bushes and then comes out? I'm getting a sense of that from a lot of people who, when the Kings were down, they went to the Warriors, and now they're coming back to the Kings. I'm all for cheering for Sacramento, the Kings, but next time, don't leave us. That's my mission. Like, and this is why I sort of got in trouble, and went viral a little bit when I said Warriors fans are sort of new money, last 8 to 10 years, because a lot of those fans were from Sacramento. And I understand the Kings weren't doing well. They weren't playing well.
Well, there was a time when the Kings weren't here yet where
that's true. That's true.
No,
you're 100% right about that. But, it just bothers me when I see Warriors fans here in Sacramento, or when I see Warriors fans in Golden One Center. And I understand the Warriors, over the last 10 years, they become a national, international franchise. Fans all over. Steph Curry has done tremendous things. But it still bothers me. And now I got to welcome back some of those Warriors fans back onto the Kings bandwagon.
I understand that. To me, it's forgivable because, you invest so much emotionally in your team. And the Kings, let's face it, a lot of that was the fault of the Kings. They weren't giving fans anything worth investing in. And the Warriors, meanwhile, were, wow, they won a championship. Now what? Oh, they got Kevin Durant. So it was kind of easy money. So as long as they come back, to me, I understand your point, and I'm not telling you
but
you're
those
wrong.
Are bandwagon fans, Whitey.
That's
worse than what this lady is doing. This lady
as you come back.
But this lady was a fan of the Chargers and Vikings.
Maybe.
When the last time they won anything?
Can we believe anything she says?
When the last time they won any? Bandwagon fans are even worse than what this lady did.
Yeah. There's a guy that he doesn't call as much anymore, but I'm sure he listens. And I remember him calling one time, and he said, you can't expect to rule Northern California if you're not even the number one team in Fairfield. He's talking about it from the Kings standpoint, and it was true because that blue wave was kind of creeping up into the valley, to your point, and took over a good portion of the valley. And now it's receding here a little bit. And to me, that's all I would say. And again, it's just my opinion. As long as those people are coming back, the Kings are good again. Now they're worth my time. To me, I'd be like, that's fine. As long as you're both feet back on board, all is forgiven.
See, Whitey, man, and Jay agree with me on this. Our guy, Jay Johnson back there. It's like going to a club, Whitey. You're there at 10 o'clock. The club's not jumping yet. It's kind of slow, but you go in, you and your boys. You're like, man, it's not jumping right now. Let's go check out this spot down the street. Then at 1 o'clock, you try to come back in the club, and it's all hopping now. The music's bumping. People are out. It's the place to be. If I'm the bouncer, I'm like, nah, bro, you had your chance earlier. You shouldn't have left. You got to wait in line now. And so, hey, Warriors fans that want to come back over to Sacramento, come on, we'll take you. But you got to wait in line just a little. You got to earn your stripes again. We're not just going to hand you a De'Aaron Fox jersey and say you're back with us. No, you got to work your way up and earn your stripes again.
That playoff series last year was the true test, and only those people know how they felt. But if those people that had been Warrior fans came back to the Kings, if they were on board with the Kings in that series and rooting for the Kings,
Kings.
Yeah, if you really were, then to me it's like, all right, you're back.
What one thing that I was proud of, and I keep bringing this up, and I'm going to keep bringing it up. When I first arrived here in Sacramento, it used to piss me off that Lakers fans and Warriors fans were in Golden One Center. Not that there was a sprinkling or a smattering. It was about 50-50 there, maybe even 60-40 the wrong way. But in that playoff series, and even down at the Chase Center, our Sacramento Kings fans showed out. And so I was extremely proud of that. And that's how it should be. Come October 27th, when we take on the Warriors home opener, don't let Warriors fans up in there. Don't sell your tickets to Warriors fans. I got people asking Warriors fans, hey, Drapes, can I get a couple of tickets? First thing I ask them, who you rooting for? I want to know that. Who you rooting for? Because I'm not giving it to a Warriors or Lakers fans.
That was one of the most incredible things about that game one. I know you heard it. There had been a lot of speculation that there's going to be a lot of Warrior fans.
Yeah.
And there were very few.
Very few.
It was amazing. And those who were there, you could there's a few there, and they were very well behaved.
They were very well, exactly. Although there were a few more in Game 7, if I'm correct, especially when Steph Curry started going off. But, Warriors fans, y'all could come back to the Sacramento Kings, but you just got to pay another initiation fee or something, or you got to wait in line. I'm not just going to welcome you back into the cookout. You got to bring a dish or something like that. You got to get it back into my good graces to be welcome back.
All right. I just want to take a quick look at Al Michaels. Al Michaels is kind of outspoken, and he's been doing it so long now. I think there are things that he says that maybe other announcers wouldn't say, because he's like, what does it matter? I've been around forever. And he's doing Thursday Night Football now for Amazon?
Amazon, yes.
Prime Games. He was on with Jimmy Kimmel, and he was talking about how to deal with it as an announcer when Taylor Swift's at one of the games, because he says, and we'll hear him here, he says, a lot of football fans don't really care for all that. Here's Al Michaels.
We love it, man. I bet you do. I mean, it's crazy. Listen, we had to be judicious. We had the game last Thursday night in Kansas City. We knew she'd be there. So how much do you show her? I mean, she'd been on twice, and football fans are going, enough? But we were praying she'd come into the booth and sing for us, and and do the whole thing.
Yeah, and then I guess he referred to, he said she's Travis Kelce's girlfriend, friend. But, as an announcer, obviously, Al Michaels, he's done the Olympics, so he knows this is part of the story. The game's part of the story, but this is part of the story, whether football fans like it or not. So obviously there are very few who are as qualified to understand how to deal with a situation like that as Al Michaels.
Yeah, and, regarding Taylor Swift, she's bringing new fans to the NFL. And I understand the NFL has maybe have gone overboard, on social media. Everything's about Taylor Swift.
People are staring at the TV hoping she's going to be on. That doesn't make them a fan.
But the eyes are in. They get the ratings points. People are tuning in. Right. Social media interaction is up when you mention Taylor Swift. She's a machine right now.
You know what a fan is with some of these disagreements we're having today.
Let's look it up. In the next break, I'm going to go to Websters.com and see what Webster says.
Have you seen the movie yet with your daughter?
No, I have not. I gotta check it out.
Because that's just dominating everything, right, at the box office.
I think it's going to set some records. Yeah.
Maybe I could go with you guys.
Yeah, no. If you're not a Swiftie, you can't come.
I want to see. You know what I love about her? Honestly, not a Swiftie, but she writes her own songs, right? For the most part.
There you go.
That's awesome. The rest of it, but that's great that she writes her own stuff. That's tremendous. Good for her. We're going to take a quick timeout when we come back. Hey, the Ringer just named their top 100 players in the NBA, and it appears that Mike Brown was not part of their panel. We have 3 Kings in the top 100. Can you guess who they are? The answer's coming up next year with the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
It's the model year-end sales event at Acura of Stockton. Elevate your driving experience with a vehicle that's built to impress. Lease a new Acura RDX or MDX. Acura of Stockton has a great selection of new Acuras and customer service that will exceed your expectations. Take luxury to a whole new level in a new Acura from Acura of Stockton or AcuraofStockton.com, where precision-crafted performance is at your fingertips.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave letting you know Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room and primetime football location is back. Cap Casino giving away $500 per game in high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game, offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region and conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. Check it out. Capital Casino. And as always, please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Individual rates, coverage, offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions, not available in all areas. If you're a small business owner, listen up. Pi Insurance wants to give you one of those aha moments, the kind that could save you money. Workers' comp is probably one of the biggest costs you face. But did you know that insurance providers have flexibility in setting their prices? That's right. But many don't bother giving small businesses the savings you deserve. Instead, you can get lumped in with other businesses and overcharged. Pi Insurance was created to change that. With Pi, you get a quote tailored specifically to your business, and you could save up to 30% with no hassle and no hidden fees. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. Take 3 minutes to see how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or go to trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave asking you, are you feeling the pain of paying more and more for your gas? PG&E has increased their rates 4 times in the last 5 years, and the new forecast says PG&E customers may see their bills increase 32% by 2026. The good thing is there are steps you can take to protect yourself from these rate hikes, and better yet, American Energy may be able to help you completely eliminate your gas bill with a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. Did you know SMUD offers huge rebates to eliminate your old gas guzzler? They can help you guide through the whole process. Seriously, listen to me. You go to the SMUD website. There's tons of rebates available, but it is confusing on how to do it. Listen to these rebates. $2,500 from American Energy, $3,500 from SMUD, $1,000 from Caltech, $2,000 home system upgrades. That's $9,000 in rebates. Let American Energy help you out at 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your flagship station for the Beam Team.
Should we light the beam? Light the beam, baby.
Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports.
Headlines. Happy Wednesday. I'm Simone, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. Last night, the Phillies sliced up the Diamondbacks in shutout fashion.
13th strikeout of the night for Phil's pitching as they shut out the Diamondbacks. A 10-0 rout. The Phillies will head west with a 2-0 lead in the National League Championship Series.
Conversely, Game 3 of the ALCS continues tonight from Arlington as the Rangers host the Astros. That Texas standoff draws at 5:03. Sacramento Kings face off with the Golden State Warriors tonight for a second straight preseason game. Of course, we here at Sactown Sports will have your complete comprehensive game night coverage jumping off right after the Drive Guys beginning at 5:30 with tip-off from Chase Center at 7. Cool. I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. Let's get you back in to more Drive Guys.
Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
Another day, another one of the top 100 NBA player rankings at a national website. The Ringer has their top 100, a surprise or two for Kings fans. Before we get to that, Whitey Gleason, Kyle Draper. Kyle, we've been talking about so many things today. You mentioned James Harden. Somehow you brought that up when we were talking about the brotherly shove. But what's going on with James Harden today? I've heard his name in the news. Is anything shaken with a potential trade?
Yeah, he's protesting right now. Obviously, he still wants out of Philadelphia. Has not practiced with the Sixers all week since Sunday. Reports are that he's been in Houston all week as well. So he's not even with the team. He's not even in Philly. Nick Nurse said today that he still expects James Harden to play in that preseason game on Friday. Harden has gone on record as saying he will play on Friday, but he's not with the team. And so the reports are that the Clippers are trying to get some more draft picks maybe to sweeten the deal to try and get James Harden. But it's a mess right now. And if I'm Philly, I don't know if I can trust the guy. Like, obviously, he had some good games in the postseason, but he also had some games where he was non-existent. And he was a big reason why, and throw Embiid in there also, their shortcomings in that Game 7 against Boston, a reason why they lost. And so if I'm Philly, I got to move on from James. I don't understand. I don't see, unless he's willing to change his stance, you can't have a guy 1 week he's there, the next week he's not with the team. And so that's what's happening right now.
Daryl Morey is, by all accounts, very stubborn and dug in on this, and he's not going to give in. It just seems to me that the Clippers, they're believed to have interest. And I've read, I don't know if you've read this, that Terrence Mann is a sticking point. If the Clippers don't want to make this trade because of Terrence Mann, either they don't really want to make, nothing against Terrence Mann, he's a nice player, but either they don't really want to make the trade or they feel like we have him over a barrel. We don't have to give him anything we don't want to give him.
Yeah, and that's what seems to be happening. And, I'll bring up the Dame Lillard situation. It felt like that too. Like Miami was the only team negotiating with Portland, and so Miami dug in. They didn't have to, have to increase their assets to get him. And then, lo and behold, Milwaukee came in, and so right now it seems like the Clippers are the only team interested in James Harden. And if that's the case, if you're Philly, you might have to take back pennies on the dollar to get rid of this guy.
I don't know what to make of the Clippers because obviously we all know this. If they're healthy, they're a really, really good team. But that's one of the things, it seems to me, Kyle, that makes the West so hard to predict. And where are the Kings going to end up in the West? Well, Karl Anthony Towns is coming off an injury. Steven Adams is coming off of an injury. Kawhi and Paul George are always coming off of injuries. So there's a lot of key figures. Zion Williamson is coming off an injury. A lot of guys that could have a huge impact on the race that have injury questions swirling around them. So who knows what's going to happen?
Right. And that's the thing. You got these preseason polls and power rankings. You know how much you love that. But nobody knows until you play the games. And like you said, the games, the standings will tell us who's healthy, who's not. The standings will answer all the questions for us.
Don't you think, though, the Clippers, and they're not a team that I'm picking to do great, but I could see how if things come together for them the way Westbrook figured things out last year, I mean, if things break for them right, they could be a really good team.
Yeah, every year. On paper, they are, you could argue, the most talented team in the Western Conference on paper. And so their biggest issue, obviously, has been health. And I feel like, though, every year we come in talking about the Clippers, but I'm not boo-boo the fool here, Whitey. I'm letting what's happened over the last 3 seasons with the Clippers, educate me and show me they are who we thought they were. They're a great team when healthy, but they are never fully healthy.
Somebody asked Ty Lue, what do you do to make sure that Paul George and Kawhi stay healthy? And he said, pray. And I guess they laughed. And he said, no,
yeah, right.
That's what else can you do? We just got to have things go our way.
Yeah, and Ty Lue's my guy, and I think he's a great coach. And, they have the talent. They made some moves last year, I thought bringing in Plumlee, I thought was a great pickup for them last season. And so they have the pieces to compete for a championship. They just need those two guys to stay healthy.
How many years have we been saying that, though, about
the
Clippers?
Yeah.
Wow, they have the pieces. Seriously. It's
and
4 or 5 years?
And here's what's crazy. They both are going into a player option for next year. So they both can opt out. And if you're Steve Ballmer, are you giving Kawhi Leonard $300 million? Are you giving Paul George $300 million?
When the luxury tax keeps going up and the apron is
and
in
you are
place.
married to those two guys. That's your squad. Those are your stars for, the next 4 or 5 years. Or do you start hitting the reset? Maybe let one of them walk. I would imagine Paul George might go across the street to the Lakers, or something like that. But if you're Steve Ballmer, you're putting all this money into these two guys, and you're not getting the return on investment in terms of wins.
Do you think that it is Paul George and Westbrook and Kawhi, some combination of those guys, that's really probably what's driving the Harden talk?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, you look at, James Harden, he played in OKC, obviously, with Westbrook, and so they know each other very well. Paul George and Harden are reportedly friends as well. And so, but the problem with what the Clippers are trying to do, though, is I get it. James Harden's a talent. He's a potential 20-10 guy. But you can't you're not putting together an all-star team. You need chemistry. You need guys that do the dirty work, glue guys, guys that know their role. And I understand James Harden is a good player, had a great season last year. But what about chemistry? And, Paul George needs the ball. Kawhi not necessarily needs the ball, but what's Russell Westbrook going to do out there? He's not going to be in the corner as a spot-up three-point shooter. And so I don't know how the pieces fit together for them.
I think the injuries of those two and also load management has really hurt them in this sense. For the one thing, so often in the postseason, they haven't been both available. For another, to your point, in my opinion, there's been so often when they've kind of manage those guys' loads during the season. Then you get in the playoffs when you're playing the best teams, and the best teams are further ahead than you because they've been through this as a team, and you're still figuring things out because your main players haven't been on the floor enough at the same time.
Right. They don't have that chemistry
that
every other team has out there in the Western Conference. And that's one thing, Ty Lue struggles with, I would imagine. It's like you want to do certain things, and you don't know who's going to be in the lineup on any given night with the Clippers.
Mm-hmm. You're not scared of the Pelicans, are you?
I'm not scared of the Pelicans. Zion, I think he'll be a great player if he stays healthy. It's just something seems off, with the health situation. Now, if he's healthy, he's a game changer. He's a game changer for them. But I think they're a little undersized right now, too. They don't have Jackson Hayes anymore.
That's right.
He's now with the Lakers as well. And we're seeing a little Zion at the 5 here in the preseason. I don't know how that's going to work. I think they'll make some noise. But if I'm Sacramento, if I'm being honest, if I'm Sacramento, the teams I'm looking at, Denver, Memphis, Lakers, and Suns. And Warriors to an extent. Warriors, to me, those are the top 5-6 teams in the Western Conference.
Mm-hmm. See, I think OKC could slide in there. And I know.
You think they're ready?
I think they could be. I think, and especially after seeing Holmgren playing last week. And I know it's his rookie year, but I think they're really close. They just have so much talent. And Shea is obviously, he's like one of the best players in the NBA.
And he's a superstar, and he, is a team player too.
Yeah.
That's the thing. He allows his teammates to be who they are. It's not the Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. He's not pounding the ball, dribbling out the clock a la Luka Doncic or anything. It's not the Shea show. He allows his other guys to be great also.
Jalen Williams and Josh Giddey. Yeah. So that's going to be a fun team to watch. And there's going to be a lot of fun games in the West this year. Sacramento Kings have, as we mentioned, 3 players in the Ringer's Top 100. We'll tell you who they are and where they rank when we come right back here. Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
Can Mike Brown build on last season's Coach of the Year award? Can the Kings exceed 48 wins?
We will be better prepared to make the run that we expect to run come next playoff.
Tune into every Kings game this season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters, right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with 0 down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at FolsomLakeFord.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLakeFord.com.
0 down with approved credit.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sactown Sports.
Kyle Draper, Whitey Gleason, Drive Guys. Thanks for being with us. We take you up to Kings basketball, Kings and the Warriors. Before we get to the top 100 list, Kyle, I don't know if you saw this. Adam Silver now says the NBA for the All-Star game, they're thinking of going back to the East versus West.
Yes.
That thing? You
Yes.
like that?
I like that. Something needs to be done. I was in Salt Lake City this past year, took my son to the All-Star game, and he loved it. He enjoyed it. He's a Jason Tatum fan.
Such a spectacle.
Yeah, spectacle. But basketball-wise, it was an abomination. It was the worst basketball game I have seen on a professional level. And so what made these games great back in the day, in our day, Whitey, is sure, maybe the defense wasn't locked down D, but at least in the fourth quarter, it would ratchet up. Teams would try to, guys were letting Jason Tatum shoot wide open threes. He went for the record 55 points. I don't know how you fix it if you're Adam Silver. I think East versus West can be one way. I'm not a fan of tying any kind of postseason home court advantage or anything to the conference that wins. I think players just got to take pride in it. And I was listening to Adam Silver today, and one thing I was thinking, Whitey, is we got guys going hard during summer pickup runs, balling out in Rico Hines' workout on UCLA campus, the Drew League, Miami Summer League. They're going hard. There's no talk, but we don't want to play hard for injuries. They're playing hard. So why can't they play hard in the All-Star game? Why can't they go at it in the All-Star game? Injuries can't be a reason, because if that's the case, I better not see you in all these summer leagues going hard. And so the players, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a money thing. It's how do you entice them to go hard in the All-Star game? But it's become a joke right now. As an NBA fan, I was embarrassed by what I saw in February.
Yeah, I just don't see how going East versus West is going to address the issue. I'm for it because, it used to be that way. But is that going to matter? I have a hard time seeing how it's going to really.
No, exactly. I don't think that changes anything. What you need is the players to actually care about the game and care about putting on a competitive product.
It's almost like, hey, you know what? We don't want to make each other look bad. We'll just go out there.
Right,
yeah.
right. And I don't get it. And like I said, injury can't be the excuse when you're playing in all these other pickup games during the summer.
Top 100 players in the NBA, according to The Ringer. And The Ringer does it a little differently than some of the other outlets because they actually have a fivesome of analysts: Bill Simmons, Rob Mahoney, Michael Pina, Chris Ryan, and Justin Verrier. And they're the ones that vote on this. We have 3 Kings in their top 100. At number 17, De'Aaron Fox. At number 24, Domantas Sabonis. And at number 91, a little bit of a surprise, Kevin Huerter making the Ringer's top 100. How about that?
That's impressive. I like our guy Kevin Huerter being up there, getting some respect. And, I don't know if it's accurate or not. When you look at the top 100, Kevin Huerter is ahead of Anthony Simons. He's ahead of Scoot Henderson, the number 3 overall pick. RJ Barrett, he's ahead of Alperen Şengün. I know you like Şengün out there in Houston.
I think he's a good player.
Yeah, I think he's a good player as well. And so I think Kevin Huerter at his best, which we saw during the regular season, I could see him being a top 100 player.
It was a kind of a topic in the offseason, wasn't it? Who's better, Kevin Huerter or Tyler Hero? Remember that? Because I think The Athletic had Huerter higher, and I think Tyler Hero actually responded to that.
Did he
on
really?
social media
I might have missed that
he
one.
wasn't crazy about that.
Right.
But the point is that Kevin Huerter, after the season ended, was that highly regarded in some corners.
No, and I mean, anytime you can get a mention from Kevin Durant during the season about being a flamethrower, being a great shooter, which Kevin Huerter was, he had a tremendous season last year. His splits were off the charts. He was great out there. And so it's well-deserved for Kevin Huerter. And so I have no problem with him being, I would like to see a Harrison Barnes up in the mix, a Keegan Murray, even a Malik Monk. Malik had a tremendous year last year. The issue I have is the disparity. You go from Domantas Sabonis, who was way up there. What was he, 24, did we say? Yeah, 24.
Right behind Tyrese Halliburton.
Right behind Tyrese. And then you got to wait all the way to 91 to go with the Sacramento Kings and Kevin Huerter.
But isn't Keegan Murray a better player than Kevin Huerter? Nothing against Kevin Huerter. Isn't Keegan a better player?
That's a great question. I want to give my guy Keegan the benefit of the doubt. But if I'm basing it just on last season, Kevin Huerter was the better player.
Mm-hmm.
Now, going into this season, Keegan should be the third best player on the Sacramento Kings. There's those big hopes. But Keegan hasn't done it yet. And so I don't think he's earned that respect around the league just yet. That's why this is such an important season for him.
One thing that's pointed out here is something that you mentioned, and I'll be honest, I really have never given Huerter much credit for this. Chris Ryan wrote the piece on Huerter, points out that he is an above-average secondary playmaker.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the things that we were shocked by when Kevin Huerter came over from Atlanta is we knew he could shoot the ball. We understood that. But his playmaking, getting downhill, hitting the open man, two-man game with Domantas Sabonis, I think that's something, not many people knew he had in him. And so when you talk about the season he had last year, sure, the shooting numbers were great, but the assist numbers for his position and what he's being asked to do, they were good as well. And so that's another reason why he's in this top 100.
I know that you disagree, and I understand why you disagree with the critics who are saying, they're going to be 11th. But just if I could ask you to try to think the way those people are thinking, what do you think it is the Kings did last year that those people are saying, well, they can't do that again? I mean, other than, win this many games. But why do you think analysts can look at the Kings and say, well, that's something they did last year, but they're not going to do that again? What do you think they are thinking there?
A number of things. One, the offense was a record-setting offense, and maybe it takes a step back a little bit. Two, the injury situation. That's their biggest thing. And three, they say Domantas Sabonis was exposed in the postseason, and now other teams have the blueprint on how to defend the Sacramento Kings. I find that to be garbage, obviously. And four, I'll just quickly add, other teams made some major improvements. They added some guys. The Clippers, they're going to say they're going to be healthier. The Warriors will be healthier. They brought in Chris Paul. The Lakers improved their roster. So I get it. The West is much more difficult this season. But it seems like when people knock the Sacramento Kings down a few notches, it's not because of anything with the Sacramento Kings and anything that they can actually control. It's because of what other teams are doing. It's because of health maybe or something like that. Like, to me, when I look at this Kings roster, tell me what player that they lost that they'll actually miss.
Yeah, I don't see anybody. I don't see anybody. Miss a little of this from that guy or that from that guy, but overall, I don't see a whole.
This is a better roster than what it was a season ago.
Nothing against Terrence Davis, but that's a great point.
I think it's a better roster, 1 through 12, 1 through 13, than it was a season ago. And so I don't see how you can look at the Sacramento Kings and say that they will be worse than last year, other than everybody else got better or the injury situation.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of it is, we talked about it, there seem to be a lot of analysts that really just don't take Sabonis as seriously as his numbers and his history suggests they should. It wasn't like he came out of nowhere to make an all-star team last year. It's his third all-star team.
Right. And that's the thing. Domantas Sabonis is who he is. And the thing about Domas, that when you talk to players around the league,
That wasn't even a career high in scoring for him last year.
Right. What did he average? 20 point something?
20.3 and 21.
Yeah, and 21 with Indiana.
Yeah.
And so I just think, and Compio says the analysts are overrated. I agree. And we had Matt Barnes earlier, take what these guys are saying with a grain of salt when it comes to Domantas Sabonis. The dude delivers time and time again. It's not a fluke that he was 19, 12, and 7. He's one of the best rebounders in the game. Rebounding doesn't just disappear from one season to another. He'll be right up there with Jokic once again as one of the best rebounders in the entire NBA. 19 points per game. That's not asking a whole lot from your second best player. That's, that should be gravy. I would like to see him get to the free throw line a little bit more, 8-9 times a game, something like that. And then when you look at the assists, if guys are making shots, they run the offense through them. Mm-hmm. And so what Domantas Sabonis was able to do this past season is not a fluke. I said it before, 19 and 12 and 7, mark it down. I was looking at some over-under numbers for Domantas Sabonis earlier today. I think it was Bet Online. They had over-under 19.5 points, over-under 12.5 rebounds, over-under 7.5 assists. So that's how, right? So it's like, solid. Right, that's who he is, and that's who he'll be again.
I had seen him play a lot, or at least I thought I had. The Pacers, he's a really good player. He was an all-star, as we said. I didn't know how hard he plays every night, if I'm being honest. I did not realize that till I saw him so much last year.
Exactly, and that's, to me, became contagious with this Sacramento Kings. He lays it on the line night in and night out. He's battling in there. And, he may not, have the strongest right hand. We want him to develop that or whatever. But what this guy does, he is elite at it. He's an elite rebounder, and he's strong. He's super strong. The players around the league say he's one of the strongest players in the NBA. So when you go against Domantas Sabonis, you're going to feel him. That's the kind of guy he is.
The key for him, I think, this year is the ability to continue to hit the outside shot.
Yes.
Maybe the percentage can stay. Percentage could even dip a little bit, but if he can keep it around 35 plus and take more of them, that's going to be.
And what was he? A 37% three-point shooter, I think it was last season, which is phenomenal. Exactly. Maybe you take a few more of those, like you said. The numbers dip down a little, but you're more of a threat from out there now.
Keep the defense honest, as we like to say. Coming back with this, back to football, because Kyle gets mad if we go for a few segments without talking about Brock Purdy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so
my guy.
Tell you one area in which Brock Purdy is without question the best in the league. Actually, some very staggering numbers on Brock Purdy and how much he makes. And that's next year with the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
As a mom, I'd do anything to keep my child out of physical pain. As a doctor, I know that growth spurts can cause pain in my child's feet, and that can affect their legs and back too.
This is Dr. Pamela Maida, a board-certified orthopedic surgeon.
Children especially benefit from arch supports as a sturdy and supportive foundation for their developing feet. If your kids have pain, then I recommend Youth Arch Supports from the Good Feet store.
Youth Arch Supports are designed to alleviate, even eliminate common pain in the feet, knees, hip, or back. If your child is physically active with sports, clubs, or even on the playground, they may benefit from the comfort and support found in Good Feet Youth Arch Supports.
I firmly believe that investing in Youth Arch Supports for your child or teen is one of the best decisions you can make to support their feet.
See how Youth Arch Supports can help with a free arch support fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
Good Feet in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville.
Imagine getting ahead of your irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C by treating it with Linzess. Then you could start proactively managing your constipation with belly pain and get ahead of your symptoms. Talk to your doctor about Linzess, linaclotide. Linzess is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually.
Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling.
Imagine, what could relief from IBS-C mean for you? Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Hey, Sacramento, join us at Hornet Stadium this Saturday for 916 night as the top-ranked Sacramento State Hornets are back home for a nationally televised primetime game. Kickoff is at 7:30 as the Hornets welcome in the Montana State Bobcats to Hornet Stadium in a crucial Big Sky matchup. Help us pack Hornet Stadium and show your Sacramento pride. Stick around after the game for post-game fireworks. Get your tickets now at hornetsports.com. Stingers up and go Hornets.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave letting you know Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room and primetime football location is back. Cap Casino giving away $500 per game in high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game, offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region and conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. Check it out. Capital Casino. And as always, please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you find the right customers. Spread awareness of your product or services. We can help build trust in your brand and services with a digital marketing campaign. Increase leads and get more customers. We create tailored digital marketing campaigns that deliver results. Don't wait. Get started today. Contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines. Happy Wednesday. I'm Simone, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. Last night, the Phillies sliced up the Diamondbacks in shutout fashion.
13th strikeout of the night for Phil's pitching as they shut out the Diamondbacks. A 10-0 rout. The Phillies will head west with a 2-0 lead in the National League Championship Series.
Conversely, Game 3 of the ALCS continues tonight from Arlington as the Rangers host the Astros. That Texas standoff draws at 5:03. Sacramento Kings face off with the Golden State Warriors tonight for a second straight preseason game. Of course, we here at Sactown Sports will have your complete comprehensive game night coverage jumping off right after the Drive Guys, beginning at 5:30 with tip-off from Chase Center at 7. Cool. I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. Welcome back in to more Drive Guys.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
I'm nothing if not fair-minded, so I just wanted to give you, Kyle Draper, a chance.
Okay.
To, if you care to, restate your position on our poll question, because frankly, it's getting away from you a little bit. We were talking about the young lady who was a Charger fan, but no, she's a Viking fan. And so she was exposed as a phony. So the question is, can you be a fan of more than one team? And you felt that yes, do what you want. And I felt that you do what you want, but you're not really a fan if you're a fan of more than one team. That's our poll question on the YouTube chat. And it looks like be loyal to your soil. Let's come back and take the lead.
Yeah, 56-44, people on your side. And let me state my case again. Just state my case again. The reason why I think you could be a fan of more than one team simultaneously is because in 2023, people move around the country all the time. And so are you telling me just because I don't live in Philadelphia anymore, I can't like the Eagles, and let's say I'm not a Niners fan, but let's say I couldn't cheer for the Niners as well? Or how about this? What if they're in different conferences? I used to live in Boston. I can't like the Eagles and the Patriots. I used to cover the Patriots. I can't like the Eagles and Patriots and root for them. Think about that, Whitey. You move around so much now that this old antiquated idea that, nope, you got to be loyal to this one team. Players change all the time. So what if, let's say, for instance, as a young kid growing up in Philadelphia, Magic Johnson was my favorite player. I cheered for the Lakers. But also, I wanted the hometown Sixers to do well as well, because that was my hometown. That's where I live. And so my point is...
You remind me of why Beyonce got booed. Do you remember that story?
Why'd she get booed?
She was, Destiny's Child was playing when, was that 01 when the Lakers were playing the Sixers? And they're at the Spectrum?
Yeah, the Spectrum back then.
And Destiny's Child had split jerseys on.
Ooh.
Half Lakers, half Sixers, right? Why? Because we like both teams.
But
how did the fans respond to that? Even to Kelly Rowland. They even booed Kelly Rowland.
Not Kelly.
No, I love me some Kelly Rowland. Don't be booing Philly fans out. Don't be booing Kelly Rowland. But here's the thing, Whitey. I don't live in Philadelphia anymore, but I still got love for all my Philadelphia teams.
Okay.
I would imagine there's a segment of our listeners right now who says, Drapes, you should be liking the Niners. But according to Whitey's, stance, I can't like the Niners because I like the Eagles. They're rivals, so that would never happen. I'm just throwing that out there.
So I'm right.
But this lady likes the Chargers and the Vikings. There's no rivalry there. They never play each other. They're not in the Super Bowl battling each other. She used to live in Minnesota. She was a Vikings fan growing up. Now she moved to, LA. She's a Chargers fan now. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that.
It's fine. You can do what you want, but just don't tell me you're a Charger fan if then there's pictures of, wait, you're a Viking fan. Oh, yeah, I like the Vikings.
That might have been 15, 20 years ago.
But she didn't say that. She said, oh, yeah, I like the Vikings too. All I'm saying is like whoever you want. Root for whoever you want and enjoy the games. Don't root for anybody or root for everybody, but don't tell me you're a fan of this team if you're also a fan of that team, because that's not what being a fan is. That's all I'm saying.
What I need is for my people who agree with me, because I'm losing in this poll. I'm losing the poll right now.
You had an early lead,
I know. Please go to our YouTube page, Sactown Sports 1140. Look up the drive, guys. We're live right now. We got less than an hour or so to go here. Can you be a fan of more than one team simultaneously? I'm urging you to vote. Yup. Variety is the spice of life. It's 2023.
Split jersey and
like who you like. Mm-hmm. Like who you like. And if this lady grew up in Philly, what if her dad was a Vikings fan growing up and, it's embedded in her blood,
as Tommy
but now
Lee Jones
she's
said
out.
In The Fugitive, I don't care.
Hey, keep doing your thing, Miss Doe. That's how you pronounce her name, I think,
Is it
right?
Doe? I think so. Marion Doe.
Yeah. Keep doing your thing.
And, she got her few moments on of fame, I guess. Yeah, she was on McAfee, and isn't that really all she wanted?
That's all she wanted, right? It's hey, man, she didn't ask to be put on TV 1,000 times on Monday Night Football.
See that? And I have no idea, but there are some people that say, "Oh yeah, she knew what she was doing, and she was acting that way because she knew it's national TV, and she knew eventually the cameras were going to find her." I have no way of knowing.
I'm looking at this poll, and my people are showing out.
Good.
Keep voting. Yup, variety is the spice of life.
Yeah, I like that team, and I like that team,
and
that
one
team. I really like are the Diamondbacks and the Phillies. So I'm going to enjoy this game because, yay!
They're versing each other. The Vikings and Chargers aren't playing each other, Whitey.
Eventually they will. That's the point. At some point, everybody plays everybody else. And you got to have your team that you're behind, in my opinion.
So once again, you're wrong. I'm right, basically, is what we're doing.
What's Bull say again?
So Compio says, who did you root for when you were a teenager?
Me?
Yeah.
What sport? What are we talking about?
And who do you root for now? Let's say basketball.
Basketball? This is before they were the Sacramento Kings, and I didn't live here. I was a Laker fan.
Okay.
And I know you can say what you want, but I loved Magic Johnson.
Me too. I'm not going to argue it. Who do you root for now, though?
The Kings.
But he's
my God.
He's unequivocally a Kings fan.
Simone, did you hear how convincing that was?
What do you want me to say?
Hey, man, just say it's okay. I'm just giving the listeners what they want. The YouTube chatters what they want.
I'm not a Laker fan.
I'm not saying that at all.
Okay.
You seem defensive, Whitey.
I just answered your question.
I didn't say it at all. I'm just giving the listeners what they want.
I feel like I'm on, the stand here. I'm testifying.
All right, who's your football team?
I told you, the Bengals. But I like to see the 49ers do well. I cannot say.
You can't do that. You can't.
You're right.
You
You're
can't.
right.
So when they play in 2 weeks, Who you rooting for?
I think the 49ers. But you're right.
You just said you were a Bengals fan,
right.
Whitey.
Can I make my point? I can't say. You look at 49er fans who've been fans forever. I can't say I'm one of them because that's disrespectful to them. I am not a fan of that level. I like to see the 49ers win. I'm a 49er fan. That's disrespectful to the true fans. I don't claim to be one.
But you're disrespecting the Bengals right now by saying, you know
They're
what?
used to it.
I'm a Bengals fan, but I want them to lose this week to the Niners.
I can't really say that I'm that.
You can't dig yourself out of this one. You can't dig yourself out of this.
I can't. I'm not that emotionally attached to the Bengals where I can honestly say, yeah, I'm a Bengals fan. I'm really not. That would be disrespectful if I said I was.
So you're not you're not a diehard Bengals fan.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
I will say this, and you'll agree with me on it. Being in this job sort of takes away a little bit of the fandom. It can, especially when you move around a little bit and everything like that. So the one thing I do hang on to is my Philadelphia teams, because no matter where I live, I'm always from Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So that's how I keep it.
You know what it's like? And I'm not complaining about this job. This is a great job. And sometimes you hear people, oh, this job, you don't know. It's like, you sit here and you talk about sports. It's great. But one time I went to Disneyland as part of a media thing, and we went backstage at Disneyland, and you see Mickey Mouse take his helmet off.
Oh, right.
It's like, and now it's a guy, but there's something about and that's kind of like when especially you, as close as you are to it, you see some of that, and there's a little bit of the magic, a little bit sports magic that goes away.
Yes,
it's still great,
right?
But then of course the stuff that is truly magic, you're actually closer to that too. So that's to your point, it's hard to be the same kind of fan when you're right in it. But on the other hand, you get to see things that fans don't ever get to see.
Right, exactly. That's some of the trade-off. And, what they always say, don't meet your heroes, and that happened to me. I'll tell this quick story, Whitey. I grew up a Georgetown Hoya basketball fan. You remember the Hoyas back in the 80s. I was a big John Thompson fan.
You want me to get Harold Presley on?
Yeah, Harold Presley's my guy. Yeah, we should get him on one day. Saw him the other day at the golf tournament. But I was a big John Thompson fan. Loved John Thompson. Loved the Hoyas. Lonzo Mourning, Dikembe, Ewing, all those. I was Hoyas till I die. I'm covering the Final Four, and I was doing an assignment, and I needed to interview coaches about something. I see John Thompson, and I'm getting nervous. I'm like, oh, my God, that's John Thompson. I'm about to go interview John Thompson, right? That's the legend. And he's talking to somebody, and I was probably 27 at the time, something like that, 28. I go over to Coach Thompson. I'm like, Coach, can I grab you for an interview? Hey, Kyle Draper, WHAS-TV in Louisville. Can I grab you for this interview? Now, mind you, I'm nervous. I'm looking at an idol of mine, a hero of mine. He turns to me and says, young man, go wait over there. Don't you see I'm talking right now? Didn't your parents teach you never interrupt a grown-up when they're talking? And I just was shattered, bro. I still love Coach Thompson, rest in peace, but I was shattered. So, in this business, sometimes you get to meet your heroes too, and you kind of it kind of makes you feel a certain way. Real quick, Whitey, you know who's one guy I actually fanboyed over, really lost it over, and you won't believe who this guy is.
Somebody with the Celtics?
Nope.
Who?
Somebody with the Niners. I'm in a hotel in Orlando with the Celtics. We're playing the Magic. I walk into the lobby, and I see Joe freaking Montana.
Wow.
And I just lost it, dude. I was like, oh, my God, that's Joe Montana. And he looked at me like I was crazy. Like I was one of those stalkers to him that night. But it was like, how is Joe Montana right here in this lobby? And this was a little boutique hotel. It wasn't like the big Marriott's or anything. This was a boutique hotel, and I totally lost it. And then I went up to my room, and I was like, did I just embarrass myself in front of Joe Montana? Sure enough, but it was Joe freaking Montana. You know how that's Joe Montana. And
Absolutely.
so I can admit that.
Yeah, he's probably used to it, right?
He is, right?
Yeah.
Right. But not from 45-year-old grown men, right? Maybe he is. Maybe he is.
Yeah,
maybe
of course, the current edition of Joe Montana is Brock Purdy. And we'll look at why he's such a great bargain when we come right back. And we're going to get to Matt Barnes. We talked to Matt Barnes earlier today. Top of the hour, going to replay that because that's definitely worth hearing for those who missed it. Coming up here with the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
What's the latest with the San Francisco 49ers? Carmichael, Dave, and Jason Ross keep you up to date on all things red and gold during the Niners at 9 every weekday at 9 a.m. on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Not sure if you've heard, but when the temperatures go low, Kohl's goes lower. No, seriously. They've got their lowest prices of the season right now. I just went and found my whole family cozy fleece for just $14.99, boots for under $40, and an entire cookware set for under $70, plus iron Kohl's cash. So hurry and get the cold weather stuff you need for the hottest prices. Select styles. Offers end October 22nd. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
I'm Craig Ashton of the injury law firm of Ashton and Price. Whether you've been injured on a bicycle, as a pedestrian in a slip and fall, auto, Uber, Lyft, or big rig accident, you need Ashton and Price in your corner. When you call Ashton and Price, there's no chatbot telling you to hit 3 for accounting. You're greeted by a real live person who will immediately transfer you to an experienced attorney. The consultation's free, and there's never a fee until you win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
At Elk Grove Honda, not only do we have a great selection of pre-owned certified cars at very fair prices, but every one of our pre-owned automobiles are treated with kid gloves with a 182-point inspection that covers everything from unibody to tires to brakes and engine filters. Then our certified cars receive a mobile oil change and fresh fill-up with full synthetic mobile oil. We know you have lots of choices of where to purchase your next car. Come to Elk Grove Honda, home of the 182-point inspection and mobile oil change. We're in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
Got a drain that's clogged up? Or maybe a toilet? Or a faucet that just won't quit leaking? Kenny and Jerry are here from Bell Brothers, and we want you to know that it does make a difference which plumber you call.
At Bell Brothers, we respect your time by showing up when we say we'll be there. Our technicians are all background checked and drug tested, and will greet you with a smile.
They're trained to do the job right the first time, and they carry over 1,000 parts on their trucks, so they won't have to order something and then come back later.
They leave the work area cleaner than they found it, and your final bill will be the same as they quoted. That's why they call us the No Surprise Guys.
So if you need a plumber, it does make a difference who you call. Call Bell Brothers. Our number is 916-444-1234, or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com. That's 916-444-1234, or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Hey, it's Carmichael Day for my good friends at Fire Wings with some bullet points for you to remember so you can be a professional fire wing eater. Like Wings Day Wednesday, 88-cent wings each and every Wednesday. 3 flavor lineup includes 7 classic wing flavors, 7 dry rub wing flavors, 7 fusion wing flavors. It's the perfect fast casual eating establishment for the entire family. Go to firewings.com or download the app, find a location near you, order online, earn rewards. Fire Wings, just wing it.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
Oh, yeah. Some of Kyle's views are not especially popular with all segments of our audience today. That's fine. Thanks for being with us.
But here's the thing, Whitey. I don't do this show to suck up to the fan base. That's not Drapes. That's right. That's not. I'm not a homer. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear or anything like that. And I see what's coming through on the text line 916. If Kyle got paid per bad take, he'd be a damn millionaire. I might already be a millionaire. How about that? You don't even know that. You don't know my bank account situation. So I don't say things to make people happy. I say things because I believe them. I'm not one of those actors out there. I'm not like your girl, the Chargers.
Right. Marion Dew.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, someone here says, well, Whitey, you're a Laker fan. Pulls over. I'm not a Laker fan. I'm not a Laker fan. I was at one time. We
both were. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
We both were.
I think I can speak for Kyle when I say I'm a big fan of Brock Purdy, or at least how much money he's making and how it fits into the 49er scheme. Real quick here. This was, if you haven't seen this already, you might want to check this out at ESPN.com. How quickly do 31 quarterbacks earn Purdy's $870,000 a year? Isn't it funny, Kyle? Because the premise of this, first of all, is that, boy, Brock Purdy's not making anything. He's making $870,000.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. There's nothing wrong with $870,000.
No.
That is pretty darn good.
But by NFL quarterback standards, it's nothing. So Lamar Jackson makes as much as Brock Purdy does in 11 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, 11 minutes of a game. So the game starts, for halfway through the first quarter, Lamar Jackson has made that much money. Patrick Mahomes, 16 minutes. Daniel Jones has matched Brock Purdy's salary for the year in 19 minutes of an NFL game. $46 million this year for Daniel Jones. Deshaun Watson, also 19 minutes. Joe Burrow, 24 minutes. Dak, 29 minutes. Derek Carr, 30 minutes. Now, that one doesn't seem right, does it?
No, it doesn't. And when was the last time Derek Carr had a good season?
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while.
Kirk Cousins, 30 minutes. Josh Allen, 32 minutes. Josh Allen.
He's underpaid, huh?
Yes.
My God.
Yeah. Russell Wilson's at 32 minutes. Geno
Smith. Our guy. Well, my guy, Geno Smith.
$27.5 million. So, yeah, in 32 minutes, he has matched Brock Purdy's salary for this year. You got Stafford in there. Ryan Tannehill at 33 minutes. Jared Goff underpaid, am I right?
Yes,
he's
for
taken
sure.
a team to the
for
Super
sure.
Bowl.
He's been to the, for sure. He's underpaid.
Bryce Young, Jimmy Garoppolo in 37 minutes has matched Brock Purdy's salary for the year. You got Jalen Hurts.
Wow.
Yeah.
The best value in all of football.
Overrated.
Best value.
Jalen Hurts?
No. In how many minutes? Jalen Hurts severely underpaid. How much is Jalen Hurts getting?
$24.3 million this year.
And what did he finish? Second in MVP voting last year?
In April, he signed a $255 million 5-year contract extension.
If he could have just waited, think about that. Because the market changed. Dan Jones got paid. I think Dan Jones might have got paid last year, actually. But Lamar Jackson got paid. That sort of reset the quarterback market. And so, my guy is underpaid for sure.
And here's the thing. These things they're looked at different ways. Your guy, Jalen Hurts, had $51 million average annual value, and that's among the largest in league history. And he also got $179.3 million guaranteed.
The guarantee is the big number, right? That's the number.
Purposes of this exercise, we're just looking at what they're making this year. CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson.
How's Bryce Young at $25.4 million? That's man.
And Justin Herbert, 52 minutes to match. So the point is, if you're the 49ers and you're getting anything out of this guy who's making that little, and you're getting, we kid a lot, we go back and forth. How good is he? They're getting a lot out of him. And for less than $1 million this year, and you look at all the other stars they have and how much they have to pay him, it's just a perfect situation.
It really is. And Shanahan and Lynch, they sort of fell into it, right? Because the plan was for Trey Lance to be the guy, and we never thought Brock Purdy would see the field. But injuries happen, and Brock Purdy, to his credit, he took it and ran with it. And so, I always tell young kids, in any walk of life, it's not about how you get the job. It's about what you do with the job when you do get it. And Brock Purdy is doing excellent when he got the job. And so, you know what? He's in line for a big payday. The Niners.
2026, he's a free agent.
Yeah, 2026. But they got to restructure that, right? Before then, I would imagine if he's going to be your starting quarterback, they would have to restructure his deal. But kudos to him, man. The Niners, sort of like Steph Curry with the ankles, you're able to sign him, I think, to $11 million per year, which was a bargain basement price. That allowed you to do some other things cap-wise, and we're seeing that with the Niners also.
Mm-hmm. And Tua this year, $4.7 million, free agent in 2025.
Tua's what?
$4.7 million.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's highway robbery.
Mm-hmm.
That's
it is, isn't it?
Gosh.
Dolphins picked up his 5th-year option.
Of course they did.
$23.4 million in March. Trevor Lawrence, $4 million. Baker Mayfield, $4 million this year. Zach Wilson, $3.9. You got Justin Fields, Joshua Dobbs, $1.5. Kenny Pickett, $1.3 million. Yeah. Sam Howell, by the way, is making the same as Brock Purdy. So
I would imagine after this season, they got to restructure his deal.
After this year?
If I'm Brock Purdy,
yeah, but if I'm the Niners,
if I'm Brock Purdy, and he might not be that type of guy, but there's no way I'm going into next year making $1 million or whatever that number is next year. There's no way, especially if you win a Super Bowl. Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Hold out city, baby. Hold out city.
He does seem like he'd be the type where, I got to be there for the team.
Right.
Seems like
he seems like it. I don't know him or anything like that, but if he was a running back or wide receiver or something, and he earned NFL MVP votes or whatever, I mean, under $1 million, which is still a lot of money in the whole scheme of life, but starting NFL Super Bowl caliber quarterback, because the Niners think he's that guy, they got to restructure his deal after this.
And speaking of salaries, and thank you, Kyle Draper, who texted this to me today. You've got a new deal now. It's in place for Roger Goodell.
Yes.
So by 2027, with this new extension here, Roger Goodell's career earnings will be more than double what any player has made.
Think about that. Talk about stealing money. Roger Goodell has the best job in the world. How much is he making? He's making over $44 million, right? I remember a few years ago he was making $44 million per year.
All I have here is his career earnings following the 3-year extension will be at $700 million for Roger Goodell.
For what? What is he doing? Like, and that's what we say, more than double Aaron Rodgers' career earnings. Tom Brady.
Yeah.
It's
Aaron Rodgers, $342 million, the most money earned by any NFL player in their career, of any player ever. And Roger Goodell just
obliterated that.
Yeah.
He has the best job. And sure, he takes a lot of hits, obviously. He's the fall guy. A lot of times, people want to criticize him, yell at him, get on him, but
he must be a good negotiator with the networks or something. He does what the owners want, which is great, but I'm not going to pay him $700 million to do what I want. There's got to be more I'm getting.
Yes.
That if I'm one of the owners.
Right. There's got to be, more.
I guess he's got.
But he's bringing them good.
Deals.
Yeah, the TV deals, obviously, the growth of the sport, the growth of the game. I mean, look at it. I'm reading this story on CBS Sports. He also helped negotiate a $113 billion broadcast rights deal with that runs through 2033. I mean, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money
for the league.
But how much work do you have to do for that, though?
I don't know.
The product speaks for itself, right? Like,
it's football.
It's football, right? And so it's good to be Roger Goodell. He has the best job in the country.
How do you rank the 3 primary main sport commissioners?
And we're not including hockey, Gary Bettman.
You can if you want. I just don't know that much about it.
Because I'm biased, I'm going to go Adam Silver.
I don't see how you could have either of the other 2 clowns ahead of him, unless, Goodell does make him a lot of money.
But Goodell would come in second, I would imagine, right?
Yeah.
Not Manfred.
No.
I mean, and Gary Bettman is a joke in the NHL. He's booed in every stadium he goes to. And so I think it's Silver and Goodell. And then after that, it falls off. Like, there's a wide discrepancy between second and third.
You could argue that some of the things that Manfred has done have actually hurt the standing of Major League Baseball in the eyes of fans.
In the eyes of fans.
And you can't really say that about the other.
Right.
Obviously, commissioners make mistakes, do things that are unpopular, but the shield is still the shield. The NBA brand is red hot. Major League Baseball is like, what?
Yeah.
And when he said he called the World Series trophy a hunk of metal, that was not what commissioners are supposed to do.
Right. Exactly. But I will say this about Manfred. The pitch clock, it's turned out to be a good thing. It's turned out to be a good thing in baseball.
It has. Mm-hmm. Wasn't his idea, but he was there. When
he was there.
So, yeah.
It was on his watch.
Credit.
Yep.
Yeah. We talked earlier to Matt Barnes about what's going on with Kevin Huerter and the Kings and the game against the Warriors. So we'll take a quick time out and we'll come back with that for you because it's if you heard it, it's worth hearing again. If you haven't heard it, you got to hear it. Matt Barnes is coming up here with the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Nature Wood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Igor, my faithful companion, it is time to prepare for the night. The shadows grow long, and the creatures of the night stir with excitement.
Yes, Master Dracula. What do you require of me?
I need you to fire up the hearse. Elk Grove Kia is having a Halloween sale that is to die for. We're going to upgrade you a new car worthy of the Prince of Darkness. I'm so excited. It is making my blood shiver.
But Master, with your credit history, aren't you worried you're going to get turned down?
Igor, shut up. Elk Grove Kia's finance department has over 100 years of experience. They can even get me approved, even with my troubled past. And Elk Grove Kia's exclusive 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty on all new Kias, it's almost like having an immortal car.
Elk Grove Kia's Halloween sale is so good, it's scaring the competition. In fact, it's so scary, we can't even advertise the pricing. So whether you're in need of a new or used car, make your way to Elk Grove Kia in the Elk Grove Auto Mall. Or visit us at elkgrovekia.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. Is your dog leaving frowny piles of poo all around your yard? Well, we need to introduce them to Supreme Source Super Premium Dog Food, the fastest growing premium dog food in the country, made with organic seaweed for easy digestion, family owned and operated for 50 years. 6 interchangeable recipes. You can grab some at Safeway, Save Mart, Smart and Final, Winco. Learn more at SupremeSourcePet.com. Supreme Source, a solid choice.
Hey guys, do you know what makes Revive Men's Health Sacramento different? You. Every Revive treatment and medication is personalized just for you. Revive has the experts that guys go to when their current treatment isn't working. They have a complicated medical condition, or they're just not happy with their daily performance. Since 2011, they've helped thousands of local men suffering with the symptoms of low T and ED. Their goal is simple: to get to the bottom of your issues and fix them. Your best performance requires more than generic ED medications or a low-dose testosterone booster at a low-ball price like you find online. Revive medications are custom compounded, affordable, and guaranteed to resolve your issues. Stop dealing with the symptoms of low T or ED. Book your free T-check and exam and save $199 today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit us at ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Happy Wednesday. I'm Simone, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. Last night, the Phillies sliced up the Diamondbacks in shutout fashion.
13th strikeout of the night for Phil's pitching as they shut out the Diamondbacks. A 10-0 rout. The Phillies will head west with a 2-0 lead in the National League Championship Series.
Conversely, Game 3 of the ALCS continues tonight from Arlington as the Rangers host the Astros. That Texas standoff draws at 5:03. Sacramento Kings face off with the Golden State Warriors tonight for a second straight preseason game. Of course, we here at Sactown Sports will have your complete comprehensive game night coverage dumping off right after the Drive Guys beginning at 5:30 with tip-off from Chase Center at 7.
Cool.
I'm Simone. Those are your Sactown Sports headlines. Welcome back in to the last half hour of the Drive Guys.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
Want to thank Kyle Draper for arranging for us today to speak with Matt Barnes. We spoke with Matt earlier. Going to replay that for you in just a moment. But thank you very much for lining that up.
No, hey, man, anytime we can get Matt Barnes, a local guy, knows the Kings in and out, and it's basketball season, Whitey. We're going to have more guests as we progress through the season for sure.
I can remember when he started with the Kings, and it's like he didn't have a much of a pedigree as a pro player coming out of college, but man, he had a great career. Long
14 years.
Yeah.
Won a championship with the Warriors, played alongside the game's greats. I mean, he was, I believe, in Philly when AI was there. He played alongside Kobe, Steph. I mean, he played alongside some Dwight Howard in Orlando. He played alongside some great players.
Yeah, so Matt Barnes, of course, former NBA player, Kings TV analyst, also co-host of the All the Smoke podcast. They were just in Sacramento last weekend. We began our conversation with me asking Matt how the podcast went last weekend.
Podcast went well. We were up in Sac and were able to sit down with Mike Brown. We sat down with JaVale McGee, Kevin Herter, and then we did a live show Saturday at Urban Roots with Mike Bibby. So great response, great show up for, great turnout for the live audience. And I was glad that we were able to kind of bring something to Sac.
Yeah, All the Smoke podcast. Check them out. Matt Barnes, Steven Jackson, always good stuff, Matt. Here we are a week away from the regular season beginning for the Sacramento Kings. They have not played well so far this preseason. How much stock should we put on what we see from the Kings in the preseason?
0, because all the time I feel like, Kyle, there's a ton of teams that'll go 4, 5, 8-0 back when we used to have a lot of preseason games, and they're at the bottom of each division every year. So, during the preseason, I just look at chemistry and building and guys catching a rhythm. Obviously, with training camps being shorter now and preseasons being shorter, it may take teams and individuals a little longer to get going and maybe a little slower start to the regular season. But I don't never put a lot of stock into what preseason records are. Again, there's certain things you look for as a former player or a coach or someone who's into the game. You just look to see how's that chemistry. How does this lineup look? How does this young player look? You look at certain things. I don't necessarily think you take the record into consideration at all, to be honest with you.
Matt Barnes with us. So far, Matt, how would you say that Sasha Vezenkov has been fitting in?
I think solid. I think what he's going to need to work on is the speed of the game, I think. And then on the defensive side, obviously, very gifted offensive player that could shoot the ball with the best of them. I think he'll be one of the top shooters in the NBA this year. But I think the speed of the game and then just kind of finding who he is on the defensive end. I know that's going to be a point of emphasis this year. I think the team was 23rd or 25th in defense last year, and obviously that's not good enough. I think this team needs to be a top 15, but preferably, if not top 10, 11 or 12 in the NBA, because obviously with such a high potent offense, you're giving teams a lot of possessions. And I think sometimes those numbers can be misleading because the Kings' offense is so high-powered and so fast. In the Kings game, the other team's going to get a lot more possessions than they are in other games. So I say all that to say that I just kind of think the side I'm going to watch is the defensive end. And is he someone that can guard threes? Is he someone that can guard fours? Is he someone that they're going to sod out and put in the pick and roll every time because he can't move his feet? So I think on the offensive end, I don't think it'll be tough, but I just think he's going to really need to work and buy in and kind of understand what the defensive end is about.
Let's stay talking about the defense, Matt, because one thing that's been discussed these last couple of days is Kevin Herter. His shot isn't falling right now. We've seen him out there defensively as well. Chris Duarte got the start the other night. I maintain that this is a delicate situation for Mike Brown because, in my opinion, I'm just reading the body language and what I see. You don't want to lose Kevin Herter.
No.
And so how key is it that Kevin Herter gets going for this team?
Kyle, I agree with you 100%. And I hopefully Mike Brown doesn't read too much into a slow start from the shooting side, because obviously, with Herter had career years in points per game and shooting percentage from the 3-point line last year. That's something you don't mess with. You have to have shooting in this league. Obviously, he struggled in the playoffs, and he was someone we sat down and kind of talked to about that and what it felt like. But yeah, I don't know Kevin well enough to say like, hey, he's going to be fine from a mental standpoint. Don't worry about him. But I agree with you, Kyle. It is a delicate situation. Obviously, defense is not necessarily one of his strengths, but he is when he's on one of the best shooters in the game. So it'll be interesting to see moving forward how Mike kind of handles this, and I hope he handles it with care because I agree with you 100%. Not only is he a shooter, but Kyle, you and I talked about it a ton last year on the broadcast. Just on the offensive end, his arsenal is him and Keegan Murray. To me, both, they're labeled as spot-up shooters, but both these guys can make plays. I think their playmaking ability is underrated. I think their pull-up game's underrated, being able to finish at the basket. They both do all that very well, so they're not just your typical shooters. And I hope that Mike Brown kind of understands that, but I'm sure he will.
Matt, how similar is what the Kings do now to what the Warriors were trying to do, especially defensively, when you were there? What is it that fans can watch for, other than, hey, he guarded the guy and the guy scored or didn't score? What are things fans can look for that Mike Brown is looking for his players to be doing defensively, especially off the ball?
I just think, moving, talking, communicating, obviously the league has transitioned away from hard-nosed defense, and it's more about scoring and freedom of movement and all that other BS, so to speak. But on the defensive end, teams that win can play defense. So, to me, it's about communication, rotations, being on a string, trusting that if I make that second or third effort, that my guy's going to have my back. If I'm DeMontis and I know I have to step up because there's a point guard penetrating down the lane, that my weak side 3 or 2 is going to crack back and make sure he keeps the big off the glass. So trust, communication, all those things are very important on defense. Obviously, with an 0-3 record, people are kind of worried, I'm sure, because, they think that every game is, life or death. But I think there's certain things you look at and kind of understand from okay, we're good in this space. Our record doesn't reflect that, but hey, we're rotating quickly. We're communicating. We're taking charges. We're boxing out. We're limiting second shots. All those kind of things are things you kind of look at, again, kind of taking the record out of the picture, but just kind of looking at just the bigger picture on defense. And I know that's going to be a point of emphasis again. You think about it, Mike Brown came in and helped create one of the, number-wise, one of the best offenses in the history of the game, but Mike Brown is a defensive-minded coach, and I know there's going to be a lot more emphasis on defense this year, and there needs to be, and I think this team is going to commit and really lock into that.
Matt Barton's joining us here on The Drive, guys. Check him out, NBC Sports California, All the Smoke as well. Matt, yesterday, John Hollinger, I think it was yesterday, maybe 2 days ago, John Hollinger came out with his teams that, will be on the outside looking in for the playoffs. He had the Kings 11th in the Western Conference, 39. Exactly. It's a joke, right? It's a joke. Yeah. But realistically, where do you see them at?
I think what is their over under for Vegas? I think was it 43 games?
43 and a half. Games? Yeah, I think it was. Yes.
Yeah. I think I see them above it. Obviously they're not going to be able to sneak up on anybody. I wouldn't say they're the hunted now, but they were the new kids on the block last year that kind of snuck up on teams, and they were the darling of the NBA. All that is out the window. These guys got to come to play every single night. They're not going to sneak up on anybody. There's a target on their back because people want to see how good are they really. How good is this team that was the third seed in the West last year? They took the Warriors 7 games. Are they really that good? Was it the luck? Was it this? Was it that? So there's going to be a lot of questions. But to say that they're going to be an outside looking in, one is a credit to the Western Conference because it's strong, but two, don't listen to people who haven't really played the game. When ESPN comes out with these player rankings or team rankings from guys that never can't dribble the ball and chew gum at the same time, don't put too much stock into that kind of stuff. If you're a fan, if you're a player, any of that kind of stuff, the game still has to be played. These are just predictions. So, I wouldn't, get too worked up over any of it.
Matt, you were, of course, part of the We Believe Warriors in 2007, and then the next year you guys won more games, but actually just missed the playoffs. Is there maybe a lesson in that for the Kings this season?
I hope so. I just think, they come out and they're hungry and understand, again, similar to that We Believe team, we caught fire at the end of the season and kind of surprised a lot of people. The Kings aren't going to be able to surprise anyone. Their national TV games are up. The recognition is up. You have 2 All-Stars. You have 2 All-NBA players. You have a EuroLeague MVP. You have a rising rookie coming into his second year. So, they're going to get all the bells and whistles and all the attention that they deserve, which I think is great because they've earned it. But again, you're going to have to stand on that. You're going to have to defend that. You're going to have to understand that, hey, every single night, people are coming in to kick your butt, and you got to be prepared and ready.
Our guy, Matt Barnes, joining us. Matt, I'm going to switch gears just a little bit and go to the Eastern Conference. Obviously, Boston, retooled with Porzingis and Drew Holiday. Milwaukee obviously got Dame. And then you got Philly, who's dealing with this James Harden situation. He hasn't been practicing with the team this week. What do you make of this? And if I'm Joel Embiid, this is my prime right now. Like, when does Embiid become upset? If I'm Philly, I got to worry about that too.
I think Embiid is already upset, but I think he's doing a good job understanding that, a lot can be put in if he came out and cussed James out or, called James out on this stuff. I think they have to focus with who they have. The NBA is always the next man up mentality. They got some young talent around them. But, we talked about this on the Certified Smoke show I do with Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce and Steven Jackson about, James has to be careful. James has been a great player in this league, one of the most gifted two guards we've ever seen in this game. But you force your way out of Houston. You force your way out of Brooklyn, and then a lot of people don't blame the Brooklyn situation so much on him because it was such a debacle. But now you're in Philly. You're forcing your way out of Philly. Like, can you count on this guy to buy in? Can you count? If you're a Houston and you have a young core, do you really want to bring him in? I can't speak to that because I've never played with James and I don't know what kind of teammate he is. But I'm erring on the side of caution if I'm a James Harden because the league doesn't, well, with all due respect, the league doesn't need him anymore. The league is always looking to go younger. He's obviously not the same player he was, although I still feel like he's a 2010 guy and can be a huge piece to a good team. But I think everything is between the ears with him. And you only, as Kevin Garnett said, you only get so many wiggle outs. And he's had two wiggle outs already in the process of his third wiggle out. And, this is a copycat league. A couple teams are off you. The other teams start being off you too, and next thing you know, James Harden can be out of the NBA, and he still has a lot to give. So I think Joel Embiid is doing the right thing, which is focusing on the guys they have in camp. I'm sure as the leader and then star and reigning MVP, he's pissed, but he's not going to let the world know that because he knows we're going to run with it and try to possibly, not we, but some people are going to try to draw a division in this team and make it James against the 76ers. So I think he's playing his cards right, but I guarantee there's a lot of frustration from the players. I mean, I don't really get into the management side, but I know from the player standpoint, there's a lot of frustration because they know that, he's a big piece of that team.
Thanks very much for your time, Matt. We appreciate it. Hope to talk to you again soon.
All right, guys.
Matt Barnes, as all guests are, he came to you from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Again, thank you, Kyle Draper, for lining that up today.
No, it's always good to have Matt on. He'll be with us on NBC Sports California throughout the season. And he's a guy that's, no matter what, he's himself. He's real. What you see is what you get, whether it's on the radio, on TV, hanging outside at the club, whatever. Matt Barnes is Matt Barnes no matter what.
We'll take a quick break, come right back, wrap things up here with a look at tonight's matchup of the night. By the way, brought to you by Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. You got the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Will Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers brass go all the way this season?
Could the Niners win their first Super Bowl since 1995?
Join us throughout the season to hear all the games and all the analysis on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters, right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with zero down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at FolsomLakeFord.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLakeFord.com.
0 down with approved credit.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sactown Sports.
Taking you up to game night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer, Henry Turner. Henry's already come in here and kind of established his territory. Great guy. I wonder
Where's
if
he
ever,
at?
yeah, he took off.
Oh, he took off. He ran. Yeah, he ain't want none of this smoke. No, that's my guy. That's my guy.
Yeah.
He's
So,
ready, though.
Yeah, we've got them coming up. What do the Kings have to be ready for tonight, Kyle? What would be your matchup of the night tonight with the Kings and the Warriors squaring up?
Well, obviously, it depends on who's all suiting up and who's playing. For me, I want to see Kevin Huerter. I don't know if Clay's playing or not. Kevin Huerter and see what he does out there tonight.
Yeah.
I would like to see the second unit, though, get going. Whatever iteration Mike Brown throws out there, because we talked last week about last game, and they came out like gangbusters. They looked good in that first quarter. The key for the Kings is going to be how do you sustain it throughout the rest of the game. And to me, that second unit has to bring that same intensity that we saw from the first unit.
I want to see somebody slow down Jonathan Kuminga a little bit. Jonathan Kuminga is a wonderful player.
Yeah.
He's just been having his way with everybody in this preseason, and he got to the line, 17 times against the Kings last time they played. I want to see somebody just slow him down a little bit. Let him know that, all right, Rook, we're getting close to – he's not a rookie.
Right.
Well, we're getting a youngster. We're getting close to where these games are actually going to count, and when the games matter, you're not going to run roughshod over us like
Yeah, he, getting to the line 17 times. He was extremely physical.
He was.
Who's going to match that physicality?
Yes.
Bounce it back. Is it Harrison Barnes, Keegan Murray tonight? Who's that guy defensively that's going to say, you know what? I'm going to stay right with you. I'm not going to let you get to the cup like he did the other night.
So we're not going to see Chris Duarte tonight. We don't actually know whether Huerter will start, do we?
No, we do. Mike Brown did say Kevin Huerter is going to start, so he'll be in the starting lineup.
Okay, thank you.
He'll be in the starting lineup, so we do have that. And so, I said earlier, this is Kevin Huerter's chance to solidify himself in this starting lineup. Duarte's hurt. He's not practicing, so he's missing some time. And so this is Kevin Huerter's time. And who knows? Maybe Mike Brown doesn't see an issue. Maybe the change in the starting lineup the other day was just because. But based on the eye test and what I saw, I think Kevin Huerter needs to have a big game. And hopefully, I mentioned it earlier, I want to see 4 or 5 threes from him. Not from me. I don't care about his shooting as much as I want to see him engaged. I want to see him competing on both ends of the floor. But I would like to see him knock down threes for himself, for his own confidence, his own well-being.
I've been really high on a young man who's playing very well for the Kings in this preseason, Colby Jones. I'd like to see him play.
Yes.
Well, I'm not saying he's a rotational piece necessarily start of the season, but I think he's opening some eyes and turning some heads.
You're 100% right about that. And Mike Brown talked about him yesterday, I do believe. Colby is giving you whatever you need. He's not flashy. He's not going to, come out there, but he also isn't going to look for a shot or anything like that. He plays team concept, and he's good defensively, too. He has a little length defensively. And so, no, I agree with you. I think Colby's been well. And, we'll see this guy somewhat throughout the season. We'll see him in Stockton going back and forth. But, he's a heady player, man. Like I said, he doesn't get too out of sorts. It's not like he's going 100 miles an hour or anything like that. He plays under control. And so those are the guys. I don't care about the starters. I mean, I care, obviously. But I'm not. We know with Fox and all those guys, there's a couple of spots, a couple of positions that, guys can really help themselves out with a couple of good games tonight and tomorrow.
What would you like to see from Mr. Vezenkov?
Man, this is a tough question.
It's really not fair to expect much, is it? He's still learning. There is a learning curve there. And by midseason, he should be giving you a lot. He should be shooting well from the three-point line. But right now, he's still figuring a lot of this stuff out.
And that's something Matt Barnes talked about. Like, he's got to adapt to the NBA game. It's a different kind of game. I remember watching the other day and, defensively, he's trying to get it done. He's trying to take a charge, but, didn't get the whistle. And so little things like that I want to see, reaction time. The NBA game moves so fast. I want to see him react defensively. And I never thought I'd say this. I want to see him hit a few shots.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't knock down shots the other night at home. And so I want to see him. I feel like at times, I know he has the quick release, but maybe he's rushing a little bit. Or, it's like, good shot for a great shot. Like, your time will come. You don't have to force it if you're Sasha.
That's how he makes the other guy feel him, right? It's like, you just don't want him sitting there going, man, how am I going to take this guy and score on him, all of a sudden you got to worry about, whoa, he can shoot. I got to worry about him at the other
right,
end.
Exactly. You got to balance it
bit.
out. Make guys, how do you wear them out offensively? You make them work defensively.
Mm-hmm. And Domas Sabonis just keeps chugging right along. So Trey Lyles playing well. It's going to be interesting to see if the Kings are able to establish any kind of defensive identity early on in this one.
Yeah, because when you look at it, sure, they outscored them 38-25 in that first quarter. But after that, the parade to the foul line, that just can't happen. That was remarkable. And so, I understand you want to play physical, you want to play hard, but you got to be able to do that without fouling, because that's a sure way of losing the game is by sending the team to the line, 42 times?
An incredible 42-17, as you pointed out earlier.
Unbelievable.
What's that about, Henry?
I know, right? I'm going to have to get the high. What is this, 2002? What the heck happened here? 42 free throws to 17 the other night?
Well, you know what? You guys got to look at it like this. You got to look at how the Golden State Warriors played that night. Kuminga went to the rack.
Yes, he did.
Every time. And let me tell you, that young man ain't playing.
Right.
He's coming hard.
Right.
So, he put the onus on the referees to make those calls. Now, if you elect to stand outside and just jack up threes, you're not going to get too many calls.
Right.
This dude, almost every single time he got the ball, he faced up, probe, drove to the basket, or bagged his man down. Hey, when you do things like that, you're playing that style of basketball. Think about it. If that was Giannis, that was the Greek freak. He went to the free throw line about 30 times himself. So that's how it is.
And when I watch Kuminga, and he was out there sending a message.
No doubt.
That I'm going to go down your throat. I'm going to take it to you every single time. Mike Brown often talks about physicality. You can be physical offensively as well.
Right.
And so 17 free throws, that's not going to get it done. I would like somebody on the Kings team to put the pressure on the defense like that and get to the line 9, 10, 12 times a game.
Well, you know what? De'Aaron tried it a lot last year, and he definitely went in there and gave up his body. Didn't get that many calls, but I'm pretty sure that he got that all-star nod. He'll start getting those calls this year, But I'm with you. But you got to have that guy. You got to have that guy that's willing to put his head down, go in strong. You don't go in and pump fake and throw shots up. The referees are not going to bail you out. You're going to have to legitimately create good, solid contact and then be able to finish when you do. Because sometimes you get hit, KD, and they don't make that call.
Right.
So you just can't throw the ball,
hoping for a foul.
Yeah, throw it up to the third row.
Right.
The referees are too smart. They're not going to give you that. You have to go in and make a legitimate hard move. But I'll tell you, the guy that I think really can get that done. And he's young, he's a kid, but he's showing so much promise. I bet Keegan Murray can be that guy.
I was thinking that. At that size,
Keegan Murray can be that guy. He handles the ball well enough to be able to break his man down, and he has the size to be able to finish over some of those big guys.
Now, High Flyer, the Kings obviously want him to be more aggressive, look for his own shot more this year. Are you seeing any indication that he's coming along in that regard?
You know what? Everybody in Sacramento's seen it. We've seen it when he played in the Summer League.
Yes.
The California Classic. Mm-hmm. When they said, okay, Keegan, this is your show. Go show us what you can do. And the funny thing about it is, man, Keegan Murray, his personality, I got a little wiggle on my game. And he does. I'm just waiting for it to click with the young man and say, okay, I know De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis, they're the alphas on this team, but he has to be a major part of that. I really wish, and it's probably happening, I've heard that De'Aaron Fox has took him under his wing and said, hey, we need you. But who would be the perfect guy for him? Harrison Barnes.
Yeah.
Harrison Barnes would, and you know what? And Harrison's a great guy. I'm pretty sure he's doing it also. I know these guys are doing it in unison, so we'll see this year. But Harrison Barnes would be the main one because you know what? You play the exact same position. Mm-hmm. Watch how I do and what I do. And let's not get it twisted. Harris is a monster down there in the post when you put him at the three.
Yeah.
He can get the job done. He can get to the free throw line, and he can score. So if Keegan Murray can take a page out of the Harrison Barnes book, he'll be just fine.
Drive Guys back with you again tomorrow. Stick around for more from the High Flyer and Scott Marsh. Game night is next on Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL?
Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown!